Chapter 5240. After Lin Feng, the second person to come out was Little Y, who had also gained a lot of benefits. His big eyes were dark, and although he was not very clear about cultivation, he knew that he had become much more powerful than before. He had the heart to become stronger. Free cereal. Who asked this little guy to be bullied by the 5 powerhouses? If he did not want to be bullied and wanted to chase away the bad guys, he needed to become stronger. After Little Y came out, Miyu also came out. Miyu's beautiful face was filled with joy. It seemed that Miyu had also gained a lot. Lin Feng said. Miyu, you've gained a lot, haven't you? Of course, Miyu said with a grin. She was obviously in a good mood. Lin Feng lowered his voice and said, I have another way to increase your cultivation quickly. Do you want to try it? Are you serious? Miyu's eyes lit up. Of course, Lin Feng said with a smile. What is it? Tell me quickly, Miyu said excitedly. Miyu was now focused on increasing her cultivation. Because she was weak, she had to be beaten. Miyu wanted to become a true powerhouse. Lin Feng said, If you want to increase your cultivation, I need something from you. What thing? Miyu asked suspiciously. Chastity, Lin Feng said with a smile. I'm going to kill you. Miyu was stunned at first, then she came back to her senses. She took out a machete and chased after Lin Feng. Miyu naturally knew what Lin Feng meant. Miyu was infuriated. Miyu was not the kind of woman who would do things casually. You're murdering your husband, Lin Feng shouted. Bastard, I want another eunuch to appear in this world, Miyu said through gritted teeth. The chase ended with Miyu panting from exhaustion. How could it be so easy to catch up with Lin Feng? The cursed doll also came out of seclusion. After coming out of seclusion, the cursed doll was extremely excited. Then there was an impromptu dance. As they danced, they shouted, See, 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 see. That enchanting dance was truly unbearable to look at. This guy's skin was really thick. Or else, how could she have the nerve to dance like this? However, if it was Miyu who danced the cursed doll's Ocean Sea dance, it would probably be quite mesmerizing. Bibi and the others were still in seclusion. Their seclusion had always been relatively long. It was related to the race. 3 days later, Princess Huanshui finally came out of seclusion. Between Huanshui's eyebrows, the light of calamity flickered. Miyu said in delight, Princess, you're really going to break through to the true immortal realm. Lin Feng nodded. Indeed. Princess Mirage Snow was about to break through to the true immortal realm. The light of calamity between her eyebrows explained everything. If he could successfully break through, in that case, in this world, there would be another top-notch female prodigy. She was a prodigy who could compete with experts with a strong foundation. Above the 9 heavens, thunder rumbled. Princess Huanshui flew into the distance. She wanted to find a spacious place to transcend her tribulation. Lin Feng and the others watched from afar. Princess Huanshui had narrowly escaped death and succeeded in transcending her tribulation. Her cultivation had successfully broken through to the true immortal realm. After transcending her tribulation, Princess Huanshui looked a little weak. Therefore, Lin Feng suggested that Princess Huanshui rest for a while. Everyone returned to Sacred Beast Xuanwu. Princess Huanshui spent 10 days to adjust her qi and qi. After 10 days, Princess Huanshui's body had completely recovered. Lin Feng and the others also planned to leave. Lin Feng looked at Sacred Beast Xuanwu and said, Senior, we'll be leaving first. If we have time, we'll come back to see you again. Okay, Sacred Beast Xuanwu said. Lin Feng took out 100 billion high-grade immortal stones and gave them to Sacred Beast Xuanwu. These immortal stones would be of great help to Sacred Beast Xuanwu's recovery. Sacred Beast Xuanwu did not refuse and accepted Lin Feng's immortal stones. Princess Huanshui, Cursed Owl, Miyu, and Little Y also bid farewell to Sacred Beast Xuanwu. Then Lin Feng and the others flew towards the Mermaid Empire. The evil god patrols Xiezi, and those people from the 5 great powers will definitely try to kill us on the way. Miyu said. Lin Feng said. That's for sure. What do we do now? Miyu asked. Wai Chuang. Let's return to the Mermaid Empire first, Princess Wanshua said. The 5 great elders of the Mermaid Empire were most likely in cahoots with the evil god patrol. The 5 great elders wanted to borrow the power of the evil god patrol to get rid of Princess Wanshue. Princess Wanshue did not need to say it herself. Lin Feng could guess it. However, as long as they returned to the Mermaid Empire, the 5 great elders would not be able to do anything. Because, colluding with the evil god patrol was not something that could be done openly. They could only do it behind the scenes. In the Mermaid Empire, they did not dare to do anything to Princess Wanshue. After all, the Mermaid Empire still had powerful experts. Now, Princess Wanshue had broken through to the true immortal realm. With Princess Wanshue's talent, it should not be a problem for her to challenge a golden immortal realm expert. Therefore, the 5 great elders were no longer a threat. This also proved one thing. In the face of absolute strength, all wise schemes were paper tigers. Wai Chuang has no problem. However, we need to be careful, Lin Feng said. Everyone looked at Lin Feng. The void within 100 miles of the Mermaid Empire had been sealed off. As long as Lin Feng and the others arrived, they would immediately be discovered by the evil god patrol. At this moment, the evil god patrol, Xie, their subordinates, and many experts from the 5 great powers. Their faces were extremely gloomy. Their plan had been ruined. Refining the origin of the sacred beast Xuanwu was ruined. They could not obtain the treasure of the sacred beast Xuanwu. These people were extremely angry. They were all waiting for Lin Feng and the others to arrive. As long as Lin Feng and the others arrived, they would immediately attack and kill Lin Feng and the others. They're here, the evil god patrol said coldly. He was holding a mirror in his hand. It was a universal mirror. It could detect the universe and was mysterious. Now, the image of Lin Feng and the others appeared in the mirror. They're finally here. After seeing Lin Feng and the others, the group of people's eyes were suddenly filled with killing intent. They had finally waited for Lin Feng and the others. Now, they could take revenge. Princess Wanshue Miyu, I want these 2 women. I want to suck the power of their essence, Xie said tentatively. This guy had cultivated an extremely evil technique of harvesting the essence of others. Through this absorption technique, it could greatly increase one's strength. Xie saw Princess Wanshue and Miyu as his targets for plucking. The others naturally did not want to offend Xie because of this. Chapter 52-41. Let's go and stop those guys, the evil god of patrol said. Okay. The group of people nodded. Then, these cultivators set off to stop Lin Feng and the others. 2 hours later, they saw Lin Feng and the others quickly flying over. Ha ha ha, we've been waiting for you for a long time. Are you ready to die? The group of people laughed. They had many people and many experts. Naturally, they were extremely confident. Although Lin Feng had 4 groups of insects. But during this period of time, they had found a way to restrain the insects. So, in these people's eyes, Lin Feng and the others, they couldn't escape. A group of trash wants to stop us. Are you guys dreaming? Lin Feng said disdainfully. After hearing Lin Feng's words, the group of people was furious. Lin Feng was actually so contemptuous of them. This was intolerable. Kid! You'll be crying later, Xie sneered. He and Lin Feng had old grudges. Because Lin Feng and the others had snatched many treasures from the stone pagoda. In Xie's eyes, those treasures were all his. After being snatched by Lin Feng and the others, he naturally hated Lin Feng to the bone. To put it bluntly, this guy was petty. There were many opportunities in the world. Who could obtain them? It depended on one's ability. But Xie didn't. Xie just had to bear a grudge against Lin Feng and the others. The world of cultivators didn't lack people like Xie. Evil God Patrol sneered. Do it! While the group of people was still in midair, they had already begun to prepare their divine abilities. They wanted to attack Lin Feng and the others. If Lin Feng still had the 9 heavenly thunder source pearl, it would be much easier to deal with these people. He directly took out the 9 heavenly thunder source pearl. When the time came, these people, most of them would probably die instantly. Even if those experts didn't die, they would still be beaten to a sorry state. But the key point was, Lin Feng's 9 heavens thunder source pearl had been used up. He had to wait until Lin Feng returned to Sin City to see Bai Yingjun before he could replenish the 9 heavenly thunder source pearl. I wonder if this old fellow has refined a new 9 heavens thunder source pearl recently? Facing the attacks of the crowd, Lin Feng quickly summoned the Hell King's bell. Then, the group of people entered the Hell King bell. The moment he entered the Hell King bell, Lin Feng ignited 10 billion immortal stones. 10 billion immortal stones! In addition, Lin Feng cursed all, Princess Wan Shui, Miyu, and Little Y. The bell of Hell King would erupt with a tyrannical power. Sure enough, under everyone's collective effort, the bell of Pluto was like a bullet. He quickly rushed forward. A dense barrage of divine abilities blasted over. Some of the divine arts were dodged by the Hell King bell. Some divine abilities. Instead, it slammed into the Hell King's bell. However, the current Pluto bell, its power was simply too great. So, when those attacks slammed into the Hell King's bell, those attacks were all blocked by the powerful energy that surged out from the Hell King's bell. Hurry up and dodge! Seeing the Hell King's bell rushing over, many people exclaimed. The Hell King's bell was now like a speeding carriage. Think about it. A person walking on the main road. If he was hit by a speeding carriage, what would happen to him? He would probably die miserably. So, those cultivators did not dare to continue blocking the path of the Hell King's bell. But some of the cultivators were a little slow in dodging. Therefore, they were unable to dodge the Hell King's bell. Bang, 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 accompanied by a series of violent collisions, cultivators were sent flying by the Hell King's bell. Wah! Those cultivators who were sent flying by the Hell King's bell were in a miserable state. Some people, vomiting blood. Their faces were pale. They were seriously injured. Some people were directly smashed to death. The Hell King's bell whistled past, quickly flying in the direction of the Mermaid Empire. Chase after it. Patrolling Evil God and the others' faces became extremely ugly. They did not expect things to turn out like this. The Hell King's bell burned 10 billion immortal stones. Coupled with Lin Feng and the others' actions, the power was too great. Otherwise, Patrolling Evil God and the others would have intercepted the Hell King's bell. Patrolling Evil God and the others also knew that with the Hell King's bell's power, it would not be able to hold on for too long. As long as they caught up with the Hell King's bell, there would be a turn for the better. But dreams were beautiful, but reality was cruel. Although these people were strong and fast, there was still a big gap between them and catching up with the Hell King's bell. Therefore, they simply could not catch up with the Hell King's bell. Lin Feng and the others successfully escaped. This infuriated the group of people. Lin Feng and the others smoothly returned to the Mermaid Empire. And at this moment, the 5 great pavilions. They were anxiously waiting for news. Soon, a subordinate came to report this matter. When the 5 great pavilion elders learned that Princess Wan Shui had returned to the Mermaid Empire, their faces could not help but become extremely gloomy. Trash, trash! Patrolling Evil God and the others are also a bunch of trash. Even Princess Wan Shui and the others could not deal with them. They have wasted our trust in them. One of the pavilion elders said in a gloomy voice. Another pavilion elder said, Since things have already developed to this point, it seems like we can only lay low for the time being. Pavilion Elder Yen, what do you mean? Could it be that you want us to hand over all the authority in our hands? One of the pavilion elders said in a gloomy voice. Clearly, this pavilion elder did not want to hand over the authority in his hands. After holding the authority for a long time, no one would want to hand it over. The feeling of holding the authority in one's hands made one feel like they were in control of everything, like a sovereign overlooking the world. What can we do if we don't hand it over? That little girl looks kind, but she is also a ruthless person, Pavilion Elder Yin said. The other 4 Pavilion Elders frowned. Clearly, they were thinking of a solution to this matter. They were really unwilling to hand over the authority now. At this moment, a servant walked in and reported, Pavilion Elders, Princess Wan Shui has sent someone to summon all of you to the palace. The 5 Pavilion Elders looked at each other. Then they stood up. One of the Pavilion Elders sneered and said, I'm curious as to what this little girl is up to. Following which, the Pavilion Elder strode out of the room. The rest of the 4 Pavilion Elders followed suit. Not long after, the 5 Pavilion Elders arrived at the palace. The Hall of Supreme Harmony. This was the place where Princess Wan Shui handled administrative matters. The 5 Pavilion Elders were brought to the Hall of Supreme Harmony. After arriving at the Hall of Supreme Harmony, the 5 Pavilion Elders discovered that besides Princess Wan Shui, there were 4 other people in the hall. There were also 4 other people. They were Miyu, the human cultivator called Ji, and his 2 friends. These people were really lucky. The 5 Pavilion Elders could not help but think to themselves. Chapter 52-42. You may dispense with the formalities. Go, Princess Wan Shui said. The 5 elders stood up. At this moment, Princess Wan Shui was sitting on the throne. If she were to wear an imperial robe, she would be the queen of a generation. If he could woo a female emperor, thinking about it, it seemed to be a rather exciting matter. 5 elders, please take a seat, Princess Wan Shui said. Yes, the 5 elders replied. Then they sat down. Elder Yen asked, Did everything go smoothly during this trip? Princess Wan Shui smiled and said, Thank you for your concern, Elder Yen. Everything went smoothly. Lin Feng had an impression of this Elder Yen. He was none other than the sage-like old man. Before they set off, he had advised Princess Wan Shui to bring more people with her. Obviously, this Elder Yen was also a person who hid a knife behind a smile. Elder Yen smiled and said, That's good. During the time that the princess was away, the 5 of us were quite worried about the princess. After hearing Elder Yan's words, Lin Feng couldn't help but be speechless. In terms of shamelessness, compared to these guys, it was really too far behind them. There was a saying, a shameless person is invincible in the world. These old foxes were all such people. Princess Wan Shui smiled and said, The 5 of you treat me like your own granddaughter, and your care for me has touched me greatly. Considering that the 5 of you are getting on in years, it's time for you to retire, so why don't you put down your burdens and go home to recuperate? Princess Wan Shui's words almost made Lin Feng laugh out loud. The first sentence praised the 5 elders very highly. The second sentence, she wanted the 5 elders to hand over the authority in their hands. Of course, although Princess Wan Shui didn't say it so directly, the 5 elders knew what she meant. Therefore, the faces of the 5 Pavilion Elders instantly darkened. Although they had already guessed it, they still couldn't accept it in their hearts. The faces of the 5 great pavilions were uncertain. Therefore, the atmosphere was somewhat oppressive. Elder Yen said, It's our honor that the princess is so considerate of us. We're indeed old, so I'm willing to go back and enjoy my remaining years. Lin Feng narrowed his eyes and looked at Elder Yen. This old fellow. He was no ordinary person. He could see things much more clearly than the others. The other 4 Pavilion Elders saw that Elder Yen actually agreed. Their faces are say. His expression became uglier and uglier. However, they didn't say anything. They didn't agree, nor did they refuse. Princess Wan Shui looked at the 4 Pavilion Elders and said, Elder Yen has already agreed. What do the 4 Pavilion Elders think? At that moment, one of the elders said, Your Highness, I feel that I'm quite energetic, so I'd like to help Your Highness for a few more years. What about you guys? Princess Wan Shui looked at the other 3 Pavilion Elders. That's what we thought too. The other 3 Pavilion Elders said. Princess Wan Shui said, But what if I say no? The expressions of the four pavilion elders changed slightly. Princess Wan Shui was too domineering today. She was different from the Princess Wan Shui they knew. However, the four pavilion elders weren't necessarily afraid of Princess Wan Shui. After all, they had the 5 elemental sacred treasures of the Mermaid Empire. The 5 elemental sacred treasures were extremely terrifying. If they were to move together, furthermore, it could form a very special connection. Once this special connection was formed, the 5 elemental sacred treasures would be extremely powerful, so the pavilion elders had nothing to fear. Although Elder Yenge had chosen to retreat in order to advance, they didn't believe that Elder Yenge would stand by and do nothing if they were to fall out. One of the pavilion elders said, "Your Highness, could it be that you want to forcefully take back our authority? Have you forgotten how much we've contributed to the Mermaid Empire all these years? If it weren't for us, the Mermaid Empire would have ceased to exist long ago." Princess Wan Shui said, "Naturally, I've seen all the contributions you've made over the years. It's because I'm grateful to the 5 of you for your contributions to the Mermaid Empire that I want the 5 of you to retire." "You!" The pavilion elder was choked by Princess Wan Shui's words. It seemed that Princess Wan Shui was determined to take back her authority. At that moment Miyu said, "Everyone, don't forget that we're all Her Highness subjects. Our current status was bestowed upon us by the imperial family. Her Highness is about to inherit the throne. Are you not going to listen to her orders? Now, let's take out the seals we have." "Humph." One of the pavilion elders snorted and said, "It's impossible for us to take out our seals." Another pavilion elder said, "Your Highness, for the sake of power, you're treating us so cruelly. Aren't you afraid that you'll disappoint the Empire's subjects?" Princess Wan Shui said, "Pavilion elders, do you really want to make things clear? All these years, you've colluded with the patrolling demon god and even wanted to use him to get rid of me. Do you really think that I don't know anything?" The faces of the 5 pavilion elders changed abruptly. Naturally, they wouldn't admit to these things. If they did, they would be condemned by everyone. Moreover, they would become sinners of the Empire. However, Pavilion Elder Yan's face recovered the fastest. He had already submitted his proof of allegiance, so he could sit on the mountain and watch the tigers fight. In any case, Pavilion Elder Yan wasn't willing to participate in today's dispute. One of the Pavilion Elders said, "Your Highness, we're truly heartbroken. We are truly heartbroken because His Highness, for the sake of power, is willing to slander us old officials like this. All these years, we've worked our hearts out for the Empire. We've sacrificed too much, but in the end, we're only going to be accused of some groundless crimes?" After hearing the Pavilion Elder's words, Lin Feng couldn't help but feel speechless. Wasn't this old thing a little too shameless? How could he say something like that? Princess Wan Shui said, "Pavilion Elder, aren't you afraid of going against your conscience?" "I'm not afraid of confronting the higher-ups in front of the ancestor." "Would you dare?" After hearing Princess Wan Shui's words, the Pavilion Elder's face sank. He said in a low voice, "Your Highness, you've gone too far today." Princess Wan Shui stood up from the throne and walked down step by step. "You've gone too far. I gave you a chance, and Minister Yan was very sensible, so he seized the opportunity. However, you didn't cherish it. Since that's the case, I have no choice but to suppress the 4 of you. Rest assured, I will spare your lives for the sake of our past friendship." Princess Wan Shui waved her hand as soon as she finished speaking. Following that, a faintly discernible immortal mountain appeared. Chapter 5243. Inside the main hall. Here's a free novel series. Only Lin Feng, the Cursed Doll, Little Y, Princess Wan Shui, the Mermaid Ancestor, and me were left. "Ancestor, you've come out." Princess Wan Shui bowed to the old man. "Yes." The old man nodded, then a smile appeared on his face. "No need to be so courteous." Princess Wan Shui stood up and smiled. "Ancestor, these 3 are my friends. This is young Master Ji. This is the Cursed Doll. This is little wife Y, Senior." Lin Feng cupped his fists. The cursed doll cupped his fists as well. Even little wife Wai cupped her fists in greeting. Lin Feng guessed that the old man was probably a holy celestial cultivator. A powerhouse of that level. Naturally, it was terrifying. He deserved to be called a senior. Of course. If Lin Feng said that he was afraid of the old man, it would be nonsense. If Lin Feng wanted to leave now, even a saint immortal would not be able to do anything to him. Lin Feng was confident. The mermaid ancestor smiled. Why is there a little kid here? Grandpa, when I grow up, I won't be a little kid anymore. Haha, you're so mischievous. The mermaid ancestor couldn't help but laugh. Princess Huanshui said, Ancestor, my friend wishes to inquire about the ancient city in the deep sea from you. I wonder if you can tell my friend some information about the ancient city? The deep sea ancient city? The mermaid ancestor frowned and said, The deep sea ancient city is very ominous, so it's best if you give up on this idea. Lin Feng said, It's because I promised the Lady of the Sea God that I would bury her corpse under a cherry blossom tree in her homeland. The Lady of the Sea God? The ancestor of the Mermaid Empire was startled and said, But you have to know that the ancient sea god's city is a very dangerous place. Once you enter, you'll be doomed. Therefore, I think you should think about it carefully. Lin Feng replied, I've already made up my mind. No matter how dangerous it is, I'll go to the ancient city of the sea god. The Mermaid Empire's ancestor said, Since you've made up your mind, I can tell you some information about the ancient city. After sinking a little, the ancestor of the Mermaid Empire said, Head northwest, and you'll find the ancient city of the sea god when you see an inverted city in the middle of the ocean. Is this place hard to find? Lin Feng asked. Difficult. The Mermaid Empire's ancestor nodded and said, If you're lucky, you might be able to find it quickly, but if you're unlucky, you might not be able to find it in your entire life. F***CK. There's such a situation? The cursed doll could not help but roll its eyes. Of course. If it was so easy to find, why couldn't so many powers find the ancient city even after searching for so many years? The ancestor of the Mermaid Empire said. Lin Feng nodded. The ancestor of the Mermaid Empire's ancestor was right. However, now that Lin Feng knew about the ancient city of the sea god, this was the best news he could get. The ancestor of the Mermaid Empire didn't stay for long and quickly left. Lin Feng looked at Princess Huanshui and said, Right now, we have to be wary of the Sea Devil Empire, the secluded Devil Empire, and the patrolling Devil God joining forces to deal with the Mermaid Empire. I think that this war will erupt sooner or later, Princess Huanshui said. This war is unavoidable. However, you don't have to worry. The Mermaid Empire's foundation isn't limited to the deep-sea monsters and the ancestor. We have even more terrifying secrets. Even the fifth elder doesn't know about them. If we use them at a critical moment, they'll be in big trouble. Hearing Princess Huanshui's words, Lin Feng's heart trembled slightly. It seemed that the Mermaid Empire was indeed extraordinary. After all, their ancestors might have come from the same lineage as the sea god. It seemed to be very normal for them to possess some unimaginably powerful means. Lin Feng said, That's good. If you need my help, just say the word, and I'll do my best to help. I will. Princess Huanshui said. Lin Feng said, We're planning to go to the northwest region to take a look, so we won't stay here any longer. Maybe those people are still waiting outside. That's why we can't go back the way we came. Otherwise, we might be blocked by those guys. We have a sealed teleportation array here. Come with me, I'll open it and send you out. Princess Huanshui said. Okay. Lin Feng nodded and didn't stand on ceremony with Princess Huanshui. Lin Feng and the other two followed Princess Huanshui and Miyu to a house in the depths of the city. This house was covered by a restriction, and no one could enter without a token. It seemed that this house was very important. Things like teleportation arrays were more special. If they encountered an unsolvable crisis, they could use teleportation arrays to leave. Therefore, teleportation arrays were often located in important places. There was an ancient teleportation array in the middle of the courtyard. The teleportation array was even covered with a thick layer of dust. It seemed that Princess Wanshui was right. This teleportation array had been sealed for many years and hadn't been used. Princess Wanshui activated the teleportation array. Waves of divine light emanated from the teleportation array. Lin Feng, the cursed doll, and Little Y entered the teleportation array. Have a safe journey. Be careful, Princess Wanshui instructed. I will. Lin Feng nodded. Please don't die, Miyu said. Lin Feng was stunned. He didn't expect a beauty like Miyu to care about him. Lin Feng said, Let's live together until the next era. Lin Feng waved at the two of them. Then, Lin Feng, the cursed doll, and Little Y were teleported out. When they reappeared, they were already in the sea outside. Where is this place? Is it far from where we're going? The cursed doll muttered. Lin Feng looked at the surrounding sea, then took out the heart compass to determine their location. He pointed in a direction and said, Go in this direction. It's not wrong. Then, the three of them quickly flew in the direction Lin Feng pointed. 10 days later, more and more islands appeared in the vision of Lin Feng and the others. Sometimes, an island would appear 10 kilometers away. If it was further, an island would appear about 50 kilometers away. If one looked down from above, they could see that Area P was full of islands. Chapter 52-44. It's here. Memorized in a second. Wonderful, no pop-up window free reading, Lin Feng said. The cursed doll nodded and said, Let's look around. And so Lin Feng, the cursed doll, and Little Y began their search. They searched for half a month, but there were no clues at all. They rested on the beach of an island. Lin Feng said gloomily, There aren't any clues at all. This is really strange. I wonder where the ancient city of Sea God is hidden? The cursed doll smiled bitterly and said, It's really too much of a scam. We've been searching for half a month and still haven't found any clues. We must be extremely lucky to be able to find the ancient city of Sea God. Little Y was playing with sand at the side. He was still at the age where he was carefree. Searching for the ancient city of Sea God with Lin Feng and the cursed doll was no different from playing around. What do we do next? The cursed doll asked Lin Feng. Perhaps we can ask Great Sage Martin, Lin Feng said. Let's try, the cursed doll said. Great Sage Martin, come out! Lin Feng shouted. Great Sage Martin did not move. Great Sage Martin, stop playing dead. Come out! Lin Feng continued. Great Sage Martin appeared and said speechlessly, You still haven't given me something. Why are you calling me now? Lin Feng said. Once I find what I promise you, I'll definitely give it to you. Now, let's talk about another business deal. Sacred Martin said. I know you want me to help you find the ancient city of the Sea God, but I can tell you frankly that you don't need to waste your efforts. You won't be able to find the ancient city of the Sea God. What do you mean by that? Lin Feng asked. Great Sage Martin said. The ancient city of Sea God is no longer in this space-time. Lin Feng could not help but frown when he heard that. The ancient city of Sea God is buried in the past. Theoretically speaking, it's impossible to find it, the cursed doll said. Great Sage Martin said. Buried in the past? Then why did some people from the Mermaid Empire enter the ancient city of Sea God? The Sacred Martin Immortal said. Theoretically, it's impossible to find the ancient city of the Sea God, but that doesn't mean that it's impossible to find it. There's still some hope of finding it. The people of the Mermaid Empire were able to find the ancient city of the Sea God because the people of the Mermaid Empire are from the Mermaid clan. They share the same origin as the Sea God. Therefore, they might be able to sense some things that others can't. Therefore, they entered the ancient city of the Sea God. Chapter 52-45. After hearing Lin Feng's words, the cursed doll's face became uncertain. Guh! Lin Feng's speculation was too bold. The line of sky mentioned in the limerick was that flash of light. Wouldn't that mean, perhaps the Sea God's ancient city was really nearby? The cursed doll thought carefully. Thinking about this possibility, is X big enough? After thinking for a while, the cursed doll felt that this possibility seemed to be quite big. The cursed doll said, "If that beam of light is really the line of sky mentioned in the limerick, what should we do next?" Lin Feng said, "It's very simple. We'll stand at the place where the beam of light appeared and wait for it to appear again." "Will that work?" the cursed doll asked in surprise. Lin Feng said, "I don't know if it will work, but we can give it a try. I think there shouldn't be a problem." Whether it would work or not was still unknown. Lin Feng wasn't confident either, because that was just Lin Feng's guess. But regardless of whether it would work or not, Lin Feng planned to give it a try. If he didn't give it a try, he wouldn't know if it would work or not. So they began to wait. 3 days later, before 6 o'clock in the evening, Lin Feng and the other two flew to the void where the beam of light had swept past. They waited for the beam of light to appear again. It was about 6 o'clock. The beam of light actually appeared again. The beam of light streaked across the void. It was dazzling. As Lin Feng and the other two were standing in the path of the beam of light, when the beam of light appeared and shone on Lin Feng and the other two, Lin Feng immediately saw an ancient city appear in the ocean. It was only for a moment. When the beam of light disappeared, the ancient city disappeared without a trace. However, this was enough to make Lin Feng and the other two extremely excited. The sea god's ancient city. That ancient city. It must be the sea god's ancient city. After working so hard for so long, they had finally found the sea god's ancient city. No matter who it was, they would probably be extremely excited. Damn it! We finally found it! Chapter 52-46. The cursed doll said, "Yes, this period of time is indeed the strongest period of the Sea Clan. However, no matter how strong a force is, there will be a day when it will be destroyed." Looking at free serial novels to read, this was indeed something that could not be denied. In this world, there seemed to be no immortal force. For example, the mastermind behind the scenes. Who knew if the mastermind behind the scenes would be destroyed in the future? Perhaps it would. "Let's go inside and take a look," Lin Feng said. The cursed doll nodded. The three of them walked towards Lin Feng. The street was very wide. It was also very clean. What surprised Lin Feng and the others was that the entire ancient city seemed to be very intact. It did not seem like it had experienced a great battle. Lin Feng still remembered some legends. The great battle back then was extremely tragic. Even the ancient city of the sea god had fallen. If the great battle back then was really so tragic, logically speaking, the ancient city of the sea god should have been severely damaged. But what about the truth? The ancient city of the sea god was not damaged. This point. It made people feel puzzled. Could the rumors be false? Lin Feng said. The cursed doll could not help but frown. He also felt that something was not right. After all, it was something that happened a long time ago. It was hard to say whether some of the rumors were true or not. In this world, fake news had always been flying around. Moreover, it was something that happened countless years ago. There are indeed many strange things about the events back then, the cursed doll said. Too many things happened in that turbulent era. The truth of many things has long been buried by history. What is presented in front of everyone are some false rumors, Lin Feng said. This kind of situation was really too common. Of course, Lin Feng was not particularly concerned about whether or not the ancient city of the sea god was destroyed because of the great battle. Lin Feng only cared about three things. First, let the sea woman return to her roots. Second, whether or not he could obtain an opportunity here. Third, whether or not he would encounter danger here. If he could, Lin Feng naturally did not want to encounter danger here. He hoped that the sea woman would protect them. Lin Feng could only pray like this. Lin Feng and the other two increased their speed. They didn't search the surrounding mansions for anything. Instead, they headed straight for the depths of the Imperial City. Big brother, I don't feel comfortable, Little Woman White tugged on the corner of Lin Feng's shirt. The little fellow's face didn't look too good. Lin Feng asked, "What's wrong?" "I don't know, but I just don't feel comfortable. Little Y can sense some special auras. Perhaps he sensed something, but he's too young to express it," the cursed doll said. Lin Feng's expression became serious. This was not good news at all. It would be best if everything was calm and peaceful. He was most afraid of strange things happening. Furthermore, this was a place that was said to be cursed. Lin Feng carried a lot of curses on his body, such as the curse of the human P, the curse of the celestial master, and so on. Although during this period of time, the curse on his body did not harm Lin Feng in the future. However, he could not guarantee when these curses would appear. Lin Feng did not know why these curses did not appear. However, Lin Feng felt that one of the reasons might have something to do with him becoming stronger and stronger. Would the curse also become stronger and stronger? Lin Feng felt that this was also very likely. It was not necessarily a good thing that these curses did not appear for a long time. Because, perhaps, these curses were brewing some ultimate killing move. If that was the case, then he would have to be on guard. Perhaps these curses would suddenly appear and catch Lin Feng off guard. Because the curse was too powerful, Lin Feng would not be able to resist the power of the curse and might die miserably in the end. Lin Feng had already considered these things. Therefore, when entering the cursed lands, Lin Feng was often very careful. Because of these cursed lands, it was often an inducement factor. When this inducement factor appeared, something terrifying might happen next. He had to be on guard. However, even though the unknown danger was gradually approaching, Lin Feng and the cursed doll were unable to discover this danger. This was the most terrifying point. Lin Feng said, "Let's speed up." Their speed became even faster. About the next day, Lin Feng and the other two arrived at the palace. The palace was built in a magnificent manner. But now, it was empty. The three of them entered the palace. Then, they headed straight for the harem. In front was the place to deal with government affairs, and behind was the place to live. There were many courtyards in the harem. Lin Feng was a little confused as to which one was the Sea Queen's residence. Lin Feng looked at the Sea Queen and said, "Fairy, can you give me some hints? Where did you live before?" The Sea Queen was very peaceful. Just like Sleeping Beauty, there was no movement at all. Thus, Lin Feng and the others could only search the courtyards one by one. Perhaps when they found the cherry blossom tree, they found the courtyard where the Sea Queen lived back then. "Why do I feel that the Wai Chi in this damned place is very strong?" the cursed doll said. Lin Feng said, "I can feel it too, but don't be afraid. We have a little wife by our side." Lin Feng's words had a double meaning. After hearing Lin Feng's words, the cursed doll revealed a smile. That's right. They had a little wife by their side. If any terrifying evil spirits appeared, there was no need to be afraid. After searching many courtyards, they could not find a courtyard where the cherry blossom tree grew. This made Lin Feng and the other two a little depressed. However, they could only continue to search. They searched through the harem. They also did not find a courtyard where the cherry blossom tree grew. "No, it's really strange. Logically speaking, there should be one," Lin Feng could not help but say. He frowned. Everything in front of him was quite strange. The cursed doll also felt very strange. This place was full of strange places. "The evil chi is even stronger," the cursed doll said. Lin Feng smiled bitterly and said, "Yes, the only thing I'm glad about is that I don't feel the power of the curse for the time being. Since we can't find that courtyard, why don't we look for the treasury here?" the cursed doll said with a grin. He was thinking about the treasury here. Lin Feng nodded and said, "Okay, let's see where the treasury is." Lin Feng was also very interested in the treasury left behind by the sea god. Thus he, the cursed doll, and little wife began to look for the treasury. However, they could not find the treasury's whereabouts. "Gee, we can't even find the treasury." The cursed doll could not help but feel depressed. Lin Feng said, This place is really strange. Other than an ancient city, there's nothing. There's not even a corpse tank. Sob, sob, sob. Just as Lin Feng's voice fell, the sound of a woman crying suddenly came from the depths. Chapter 52-47. When the crying sound was heard, Lin Feng's face revealed an extremely shocked expression. What? Whose cries were those? It actually sounded at this moment. Let's go inside and take a look, Lin Feng said. Although it was extremely eerie to hear the sound of crying at this time, looking at it from another perspective, it was an extremely eerie thing. The sudden crying sound. It provided Lin Feng and the others with new clues. They had been searching for a long time, but they couldn't find anything. But now, after finding the source of the sobbing sound, they finally knew what to do next. The three of them followed the crying sound. They passed through layers of courtyards. They saw a courtyard on the left. The crying sound came from this courtyard. But when Lin Feng saw the courtyard, he frowned. If he remembered correctly, before, they didn't see this courtyard. Lin Feng remembered that this area should be a pond. But now it had become a courtyard. It was really a strange and unpredictable place. The cursed doll obviously noticed this as well. He said, "We were here just now. The location of this courtyard was a pond." "That's right." Lin Feng nodded and said, "But now, it has turned into a courtyard, and the sound of women crying is coming from inside. What happened in the end? I think we should be more careful," the cursed doll said. He appeared to be very cautious. It was no wonder that the cursed doll was so cautious. It was because the situation in front of them was too strange. They had to be cautious, said Lin Feng. "I have the feeling that some unknown things will be revealed soon," said Lin Feng. Since they had already come here, there was naturally no reason to go back. So the three of them walked towards the courtyard. They entered the courtyard. Then, they saw an ancient tree in the middle of the courtyard. It was a cherry blossom tree. When they saw the cherry blossom tree, Lin Feng was shocked. The cherry blossom tree they had been looking for. It was actually in this courtyard. Under the cherry blossom tree sat a beautiful person. That beautiful person looked to be around 37 or 38 years old. She had a noble temperament. But now, she was crying under the cherry blossom tree. She was crying very sadly. Who is she? Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. A beautiful person was crying in the courtyard of the sea woman. Why was she crying? Was she crying for the sea woman's death? At this moment, a man with extraordinary martial prowess arrived. He looked at the crying beauty and said, "She has passed away." The beauty said, "Why? Why didn't you send someone to save her? You could have saved her. If you had saved her earlier, she definitely wouldn't have died." The valiant-looking man said, "She went against the ancestral teachings. Since she went against the ancestral teachings, whatever happened to her has nothing to do with our clan." "Ancestral teachings?" the beauty said angrily. "Is it because she turned into a human and went to the mainland? If the men of my clan can go to the mainland, why can't the women of my clan go to the mainland? Is it because she went to the mainland that she was mercilessly abandoned by her clan?" The man said, "This is the rule that has been passed down for countless years. To put it bluntly, it's because of their hypocritical and self-righteous self-esteem. Some people always want to use these so-called ancestral teachings to show how supreme the power in the hands of men is. Women are destined to only serve as a foil. Women's freedom is restricted. If they do something wrong, it's a violation of the ancestral teachings. What a big hat, such ancestral teachings, it's better not to have it," the beauty said while crying. Slap. The valiant man slapped the beautiful Ker's face. Then, he said angrily, "What nonsense are you talking about? Do you know that what you just said is enough to make you lose 10 heads? The beauty was completely stunned. Perhaps she didn't expect that the man who used to love her so much would treat her like this. People would change, as time passed. Everything would change, including feelings. Everything would change. The beautiful woman said, "She's your daughter. She's still young, and she's very kind," so she was deceived and went ashore. Then, those people found out her true identity, and she became a prisoner. She's been tortured, and she's already been tortured a lot. Can't you give her a chance? I really don't understand. Why can't you give her a chance? Chapter 52-48. I really didn't expect that she would end up like this. Lin Feng couldn't help but sigh. The fate of the sea woman's mother was too tragic. It really made those who heard it sad and those who saw it cry. And the sea woman's father, the sea god of this generation, was actually such a person. What else could Lin Feng say? After that, a few more scenes appeared. The sea woman's mother was placed in the courtyard where the sea woman used to live. Then, that courtyard was set ablaze. The sea god stood not far away with his hands behind his back, looking at everything in front of him. No one knew what the sea god was thinking. How can I face my own people? Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. Although Lin Feng had a lot of women. However, Lin Feng wasn't a heartless person. Lin Feng would do his best to AI the women who followed him. It wasn't easy being a woman. So, when a woman is willing to follow you, you have to AI that woman. Those men who beat women. Not men. But a man like the sea god who was heartless to his own women wasn't a man either. Men were afraid of entering the wrong line of work. Women were afraid of marrying the wrong man. This sentence. It made sense. Looking at the burning courtyard, Lin Feng couldn't help but sigh. No wonder he couldn't find the courtyard where the sea woman used to live, it had been burned to ashes. All the scenes suddenly stopped. Lin Feng and the others returned to the real world. There was no courtyard in front of them. There was only a pool. The crying also disappeared. Was everything an illusion? No. That wasn't an illusion. Everything was real. What they saw, what they heard, what they saw. It was all real. What happened in the past. Now. Everything was repeating itself. I sold my soul to the Lord of Curses. I am willing to suffer the pain of reincarnation for billions of years. I hope that my daughter can be resurrected. A voice suddenly resounded between heaven and earth. When that voice spread in the air, Lin Feng was astonished. It was the voice of the sea woman's mother. This voice was filled with longing for the sea woman, filled with disappointment towards this world, and also filled with endless sorrow. It was before death. Was it an oath? Chapter 52-49. Sob, sob, sob. Free serialization. The sea woman knelt in front of the pool, crying in pain. She seemed to know everything that had happened in the past. This was a huge blow to her. Lin Feng stood not far away and watched all of this. He couldn't help but sigh slightly. The sea woman's heart must be extremely uncomfortable. Lin Feng couldn't persuade the sea woman about this kind of thing. He hoped that the sea woman could walk out of her sadness. Just as the sea woman was crying non-stop. Suddenly, the pool of water began to bubble. What's going on? Lin Feng revealed a surprised expression. This scene was really a bit strange. He didn't know what was going on either. The cursed doll said, There won't be any more changes, right? There's really such a possibility, X. Lin Feng nodded. Even the sea woman was attracted by the changes in the pool. She stopped crying. Then, she looked at the pool. Now, the situation in the pool was indeed very strange. They didn't know what was going on. Everyone continued to observe, waiting for the changes in the pool to end. A hand! The cursed doll exclaimed. Lin Feng was also surprised. A hand actually stretched out of the pool. It was indeed too strange. The hand looked very slender. It seemed to be the hand of a woman. It can't be a water corpse, right? The cursed doll muttered. Water corpses were also a type of Y corpse. However, water corpses were different from ordinary Y corpses. Water corpses were more special. Usually, they were corpse tea that was buried in water. After a series of changes, finally, they gained intelligence. The methods they grasped were also different from the Y corpses in the inland world. It was said that water corpses had a stronger recovery ability. It was very difficult for AJ to kill a water corpse. This pool was excavated after the sea woman's residence was burned to ashes. Whose corpse would be buried inside? Chapter 5250. Sob, sob, sob. Free serialization. The sea woman knelt in front of the pool and cried in pain. She seemed to know everything that happened in the past. This was a huge blow to her. Lin Feng stood not far away and watched all of this. He couldn't help but sigh slightly. The sea woman's heart must be feeling extremely uncomfortable, right? Lin Feng couldn't persuade the sea woman about this kind of thing. He hoped that the sea woman could walk out of her sadness. Just as the sea woman was crying non-stop. Suddenly, the pool of water began to bubble. What's going on? Lin Feng revealed a surprised expression. This scene was really strange. He didn't know what was going on either. The cursed doll said, "Will there be any more changes?" "It's really possible, X." Lin Feng nodded. Even the sea woman was attracted by the changes in the pool. She stopped crying. Then, she looked at the pool. Now, the situation in the pool was indeed very strange. They didn't know what was going on. Everyone continued to observe, waiting for the changes in the pool to end. "A hand!" the cursed doll exclaimed. Lin Feng was also surprised. A hand actually stretched out of the pool. It was indeed too strange. The hand looked very slender. It seemed to be the hand of a woman. "It can't be a water corpse, right?" the cursed doll muttered. Water corpses were also a type of Y corpses. But water corpses were different from ordinary Y corpses. Water corpses were more special. Usually, they were corpse tea that was buried in water. After a series of changes, finally, they gained intelligence. The methods they grasped were also different from the Y corpses in the inland world. It was said that the recovery ability of water corpses was stronger. It was very difficult for AJ to kill a water corpse. This pool was excavated after the sea woman's residence was burned to ashes. Whose corpse tea would be buried in it? Perhaps they would be able to see the identity of the corpse tea soon because the corpse tea was trying to climb out. It probably wouldn't take long. It would be able to climb out. As expected. It was just as Lin Feng and the others had guessed. Not long after, the corpse teas had also emerged from the water. It was a seductive face. When he saw this face, Lin Feng couldn't help but be slightly surprised. Wasn't this the favored concubine? "It's you J-man." After seeing the concubine, the sea woman immediately cursed. The reason why Hyendi's mother died so tragically was because of his favorite concubine. Hyendi's hatred towards the favored concubine. Even the water of the 5 lakes and 4 seas would not be able to wash it clean. This hatred. It had already penetrated deep into his soul. Your mother's death has nothing to do with me. It really has nothing to do with me. Your mother missed you too much and died of grief," said the concubine. This woman thought that the sea woman didn't know anything, so she wanted to deceive the sea woman. As she spoke, her body trembled violently. He seemed to be in great pain. "Do you have the face to say such words?" Hyendi said coldly. The concubine said, "Everything I said is true. Do you still remember? When we were young, I doted on you so much. Can you save me?" Lin Feng originally thought that Hyendi would directly refuse and then kill the concubine, but Hyendi did not do so. Hyendi looked at the concubine and said, "How did you become like this? It's a curse. It's a curse." Back then, the heavens were in chaos. The ancient city of the sea god also fell into a great war. But your father was defeated, so your father took the initiative to withdraw from the battlefield. The ancient city of the sea god entered the deep sea world, hoping to avoid this calamity, but who would have thought that we would encounter something even more terrifying? When the concubine talked about what happened in the past, her face became extremely pale. She did not continue. It was as if she was still in a state of shock. High Envy did not ask about the concubine. Instead, she let the concubine stabilize her emotions. However, from her pale face, one could tell how terrifying the things that happened back then were. Lin Feng muttered in his heart. This was because he realized that some of the rumors about the sea god did not match the truth. 1. Chapter 52-51. Where is he? Her voice trembled slightly. Obviously, CNV was asking about him. She was probably referring to her father, Poseidon. It seemed that CNV should no longer recognize Poseidon as her father. After all, her father, whom she once loved and respected deeply, was also the one who indirectly caused her mother's death. This kind of thing could easily cause a psychological shadow. It was normal for CNV to not recognize her father. Your father's fate is the same as everyone else's, the concubine said. It seemed that even someone as powerful as Poseidon could not avoid the fate of being cursed. It's retribution, CNV said. She had experienced too many things, so she was no longer that simple young woman. She knew what kind of people were good to her. She knew what kind of people to cherish. She knew what kind of people to despise. Is this how you curse your father? You're getting more and more presumptuous. At that moment, a cold voice came from the pool. Then, Poseidon also emerged from the pool. However, Poseidon was also trapped in the pool and could not really leave the pool. After seeing Poseidon, Lin Feng could not help but roll his eyes. Although this guy was once a titled god. But so what? There was a problem with his character, and there was a huge problem with it. At that moment, he was neither human nor ghost. He still had that self-righteous look on his face. That was really ridiculous. Who are you calling Ewer? I'm my mother's Ewer, not your Ewer. CNV looked at Poseidon coldly. Seeing her father in such a miserable state, CNV did not feel any pity. Instead, she felt relieved. Who asked Poseidon to go so far? You disappoint me, Poseidon said with a sullen face. Chapter 52-52. The cursed doll still wanted to say something, but Lin Feng stopped it. Said Lin Feng. What's the point of arguing with him? There's no need. The cursed doll nodded and said, You can continue being a water corpse. We'll go out and have fun. Although they hadn't gained anything from this trip, being able to save the sea lady was already a great gain. Lin Feng looked at the sea lady and said, We can't stay here for long. Let's leave quickly. The sea lady nodded. Her mother had saved her with great difficulty. So, the sea lady didn't want to disappoint her mother. She wanted to live well. For herself. And for her mother. Don't leave me behind, Ewer. Don't leave me behind. I'm your father. Can you really bear to give up on your own father? The sea lady shouted. She wanted to gain the sea lady's sympathy. However, the sea lady had no intention of saving the sea lady. What were you thinking when you gave up on my mother? The sea lady said coldly. She then turned her head. She ignored the sea lady. Lin Feng and the others were about to leave quickly. Suddenly, the cursed doll shouted. Not good, the aura of the curse. I can feel the aura of the curse. A powerful curse is approaching us. Let's leave quickly. Hearing this, the expressions of Lin Feng and the others changed. A group of people rushed outside. At that moment, a voice rang out. Don't even think about escaping. You won't be able to escape. When you came in, I already sealed the ancient city. Your every move is under my watch. I didn't show myself because I was secretly watching the show. However, the show is almost over. Now I want to play some games with you. When the voice rang out, Lin Feng and the others stopped. Because an unknown and terrifying existence was blocking their path. This existence, it was surrounded by the endless curse power. They couldn't see its face clearly. However, they could feel its power. This existence was terrifying. It was unimaginable. Lin Feng knew. This existence was likely a creature born from the Lord of Curses, origin Chi. What kind of creature was he? Cursing living beings? Ahem, we don't want to play games. We just want to go home. The cursed doll coughed dryly and said. The cursed being looked at the cursed doll mockingly and said, No matter what, you are still a cursed being. Why are you so cowardly? He's a disgrace to us cursed beings. The cursed doll could not help but mutter, Is face more important than life? But in the end, he didn't dare to say it out loud. Come to think of it, you're all fated with curses. Let's talk about you first. You're a special kind of cursed creature. You're a kind of cursed doll. The souls that possess you are cursed souls, and they've cultivated various curses. Next, let's talk about you. The cursed being pointed at Lin Feng and said, You have several powerful curses on you. Generally speaking, one curse is enough to take your life. You have several curses on you, and you're living a carefree life. It's unbelievable. Lin Feng raised his eyebrows slightly. Lin Feng did not find it strange that the cursed being could see through everything. After all, this cursed being was indeed extraordinary. The cursed being looked at the little son and said, Little guy, you seem to have inherited a cursed bloodline. This means that your ancestor, or even your father or grandfather, was cursed. As for the Sea Lady, you and I are connected by fate. Your mother gave her soul to the Curse's Lord, otherwise the Curse's Lord wouldn't have been able to descend to this world, and I wouldn't have been able to be born. Therefore, I have to thank you properly, said the Sea Lady. No need to thank me, the Sea Maiden said coldly. The Sea Maiden said coldly. Of course I have to thank you. If I didn't thank you, I wouldn't be at ease. In order to thank you, I've decided to release your father. Hearing this, Lin Feng and the others' expressions changed slightly. The cursed doll's face turned green. It had just had a verbal conflict with the sea goddess. The cursed being released the sea goddess. It definitely did not have good intentions. Ha ha ha, I'm going to be free. I'm going to be free. The sea god couldn't help but cry out in excitement. The current sea goddess was no longer as handsome and heroic as she had been in the past. She looked like a complete madman. The cursed being sent out runes after runes. Those runes. They all flew towards the sea goddess. Runes appeared one after another. They all flowed into the sea goddess body. When those runes entered the sea goddess body, the pool's restriction on the sea goddess was gradually disappearing. Whoosh! The sea goddess flew out of the pool. I'm free. I'm finally free. I'm free. I'm finally free. The sea goddess could not help but shout excitedly. Seeing the sea goddess like this, Lin Feng was speechless. If the people in the outside world knew that the sea goddess they worshipped was actually this kind of trash, they would definitely be extremely disappointed. The sea goddess' glorious image. Lin Feng's heart had already completely collapsed. Do you want to become a real person? The cursed being asked the sea goddess. Yes, I do. I want to, even in my dreams, the sea goddess hurriedly said. The cursed being revealed an extremely evil smile. It's not easy to become a real person. You have to pay a price. As long as I can become a normal person, I'm willing to pay any price. Is that so? Is there really any price? The cursed being asked the sea goddess. Of course. The sea goddess nodded. I want to see you father and daughter kill each other. Can you do that? The cursed being asked evilly. That's just a small matter, the sea goddess said. F***ck. Lin Feng was speechless. The cursed being was too evil. The sea goddess was too much of a bastard. Why are you so perverted? Lin Feng looked at the cursed being, speechless. The cursed being laughed and said, Am I a pervert? I think this is a very interesting thing. Controlling someone else's fate feels so good. Don't you think it's very interesting for father and daughter to kill each other in order to survive? Perverted, the cursed doll said. This is such a fun game, yet you think it's perverted? What boring fellows! The cursed being said loftily. Chapter 52-53. The sea god looked at her. he said. You or I gave you your life. Now, give it back to me. Lin Feng was speechless when he heard the sea god's words. What was shameless? What was shameless? What was a bastard? The sea god had it all. It seemed that gods and mortals were the same. Everything was for their own benefit. I gave my life back to you a long time ago. Her body began to tremble violently. Other people's fathers were willing to sacrifice themselves for their children. Her father, on the other hand, was willing to sacrifice his children again and again for her. She was very sad, very angry, and very pained. She had thought that after her mother's death, she would no longer feel this way. As it turned out, she had overestimated herself. She looked at the sea god and said, My life now is because my mother sacrificed herself for me. What right do you have to ask me to give my life back to you? You used to be such an obedient and cute girl. You always listened to your father's words, but look at you now. You've completely changed. Your father's good impression of you has completely disappeared. How sad would your mother be if she knew that you've become like this? The sea god said to her. You still have the face to mention my mother? What right do you have to mention my mother? You don't have the right! She roared furiously. She had completely lost control of her emotions. It was difficult to suppress them. Her mother was destined to be a wound in her heart forever, a pain that would last forever. She missed her mother very much. Unfortunately, she would never be able to see her again. You're too unfilial. Since that's the case, I'll clean up the house today, the sea god said coldly. A large amount of corpse energy surged out of his body. The sea god was preparing a powerful attack. F***K, we're all here. Do you think we'll let you bully her? Lin Feng couldn't help but sneer. He leaped forward and arrived beside her. Don't bully big sister. Little son's tender voice sounded. This little guy was very brave and knew how to protect women. It seems that even a 5-year-old child knows more about life than you do. It's really hard to understand how you were given the title of sea god back then. This title will be shamed because of you. The sea god originally wanted to attack immediately, but seeing that Lin Feng and the others had joined in, he decided not to. After hearing the cursed doll's words, the murderous intent in his heart intensified. He looked at the cursed being and asked, So many people are ganging up on me. Is this fair? The cursed being replied, This world has never been fair. I've given you a chance, but whether or not you can grasp it will depend on your own abilities. You can choose to step back, and we'll deal with him. Lin Feng looked at the sea maiden and said. The sea girl bit her lip. She was hesitating. Should he make a move or not? That was her father. Could she lay a hand on her own father? Although she hated her father. Although she didn't admit that he was her father. However, that was her father. The sea woman chose to retreat. She hated the sea god. But in the end, he couldn't attack the sea god. That was her inner world. In the end, she was still kind. Those who stand in my way will die. The sea god's voice was ice cold. He hugged the moon with both hands, and in an instant, an enormous ball of energy appeared in his embrace. The sea god took out the ball of energy. Bang! That ball of energy immediately exploded and an earth-shattering strength moved towards Lin Feng and the two others. Retreat! Lin Feng shouted. The sea god had already turned into a corpse. However, this fellow was still unimaginably terrifying. He was truly too powerful. Lin Feng was shocked. He, little son, and the cursed doll quickly retreated. They dodged the ball of energy's attack. The cursed doll chanted an incantation, wanting to attack the sea god with the Tao of curses. As for little son, he tried to use the rising sun in his body to deal with the sea god. The rising sun. The purest sun. It was extremely lethal against corpses like the sea god. It was the most powerful of all. Lin Feng was also preparing a powerful divine ability. Lin Feng planned to use a curse technique. Because the cursed doll was proficient in the Tao of curses, Lin Feng also used the Tao of curses, combining it with the cursed doll. They could erupt with even more power. However, the sea god didn't give Lin Feng, the cursed doll, and little son a chance to use their divine abilities. He quickly attacked, his sharp claws sweeping towards Lin Feng and the others. This fellow. He wanted to win with speed. Unparalleled speed, a powerful physical body, and venomous corpse claws. This was what the sea god relied on. Therefore, Lin Feng and the others didn't even have a chance to use their divine abilities. Lin Feng hurriedly punched out to block the sea god's attack. Little Sun and the cursed doll also hurriedly attacked. They were sent flying by the sea god's terrifying corpse claws. Fortunately, their palms were wrapped in magic power, so they weren't scratched by the corpse claws. When the three of them were sent flying, the sea god attacked again. This time, the sea god locked onto Little Sunday. "I'll take your dog life first." The sea god sneered at Little Sunday. "Not good." Lin Feng's expression suddenly changed. He wanted to help, but it was too late. Little Sun's face was pale with fright. Bang! However, at this moment, a pearl flew out of the void. This pearl was called the Deep Sea Arcane Pearl, and it was one of the most precious treasures of the merfolk. It had always been carried by the Sea Lady. The Sea God was sent flying. The Sea Lady had attacked. Ha ha ha! The Sea Lady has attacked. The battle between father and daughter has begun. How interesting! The cursed creature couldn't help but laugh. When he heard this fellow's laughter, Lin Feng had the urge to tear him to pieces. This demon. He deserved to die. However, he had to deal with the sea god first. I really raised an ingrate. She actually dares to work with others against her own father. The sea god's voice was cold. The Sea Lady said, "Give up. If you do, we won't make things difficult for you." "Give up?" The sea god sneered. "I want to be reborn, and all of you will die." The sea god's killing intent soared. Lin Feng took out the epic war spear. He charged at the sea god with the spear in hand. The sea god was too fast. That was why he had to delay him. Otherwise, the cursed doll and Little Sun wouldn't be able to use their ultimate techniques. In a battle of this level, whether it was the cursed doll's Tao of Curses or the rising sun within Little Sun's body, both would play a crucial role in the battle. "I'll let you have a taste of my power." Lin Feng's expression was cold. He became one with his spear and instantly appeared in front of the sea god. Then, the epic war spear in his hand. He thrust it at the sea god's chest. "Brat, you don't know the immensity of heaven and earth." The sea god sneered. He waved his right hand, and his half-meter-long fingernail collided with Lin Feng's epic war spear. He actually managed to block Lin Feng's attack. Next, the sea god's left hand grabbed at Lin Feng. The fingernail on the sea god's left hand transformed into 5 evil dragons. The tails of the dragons connected with the sea god's hand. The 5 evil dragons pounced toward the sea god. Then, Chapter 52-54. Whoosh! Lin Feng's chi was like a sword as he cut off the heads of the evil dragons one by one. The evil dragons were beheaded. 5 evil dragons. They turned into zombie claws again. The zombie claws clawed at Lin Feng again. The zombie claws' aura was terrifying. The zombie claws' power was also terrifying. Lin Feng retreated quickly. He dodged Poseidon's attack. However, Poseidon still held the epic war spear in his hand. "This war spear is not bad. I want it." Poseidon sneered. "You wish." Lin Feng sneered. He activated the epic war spear with his mind. Suddenly, something shocking happened. The epic war spear spun rapidly. As the epic war spear spun, a powerful force appeared. It vibrated out from the epic war spear. The powerful force shook off Poseidon's claw. Then, it stabbed towards Poseidon. However, at that moment, dense runes appeared in front of Poseidon. Those runes blocked the attack of the epic war spear. Poseidon's means were terrifying. Poseidon began to condense runes. Dense runes formed. He wanted to seal Lin Feng's epic war spear. The epic war spear was indeed a heaven-defying treasure. It was no wonder that Poseidon was interested in Lin Feng's treasure. However, at that moment, Poseidon controlled the orb to attack Poseidon. The orb turned into a stream of light and charged towards Poseidon. Then, it hit Poseidon hard. Poseidon's expression turned ugly. He had to stop condensing runes to suppress the epic war spear. He turned to deal with Poseidon's orb. Bang! Poseidon and Poseidon's orb collided. The orb was indeed powerful. The impact forced Poseidon to retreat. Lin Feng rushed over and grabbed the epic war spear. He did not continue to stab Poseidon. Instead, he held the epic war spear with both hands. Then, he whipped it towards Poseidon. Bang! Poseidon could not dodge in time and was sent flying by Lin Feng's epic war spear. How terrifying was Lin Feng's strength! Therefore, the sea god was sent flying by Lin Feng's epical war spear. The sound of bones cracking could be heard. It was unknown how many of the sea god's bones had been broken by Lin Feng. The sea god's face turned extremely pale. Although he was a Yin corpse. But he would also be injured. "I want your lives!" The sea god roared furiously. "Sea god's apocalypse!" The sea god shouted coldly. Next. Behind sea god. Then, a gigantic deity appeared. That god. He wore a crown on his head and stepped on a dragon. Holding a trident. Heavenly Law's embodiment technique. It was actually a Heavenly Law's embodiment of heaven and earth formed by the sea god. The Heavenly Law's embodiment of earth wielded Lin Feng's trident and swept towards Lin Feng and the sea lady. Break! Lin Feng wielded the epic war spear and charged towards the trident. Meanwhile, the sea maiden controlled the pearl to attack the trident. Clang! Clang! 2 consecutive violent collisions could be heard. Lin Feng's epic war spear and the sea maiden's pearl collided with the trident. Lin Feng immediately felt an earth-shattering power surging towards him. In the next moment, Lin Feng was sent flying. The sea maiden's pearl was also sent flying. It wasn't that Lin Feng wasn't strong enough. It was that the sea god was too strong. The sea god was a Saint Realm cultivator at his peak. Although his cultivation level had dropped because he had become a Yin corpse. However, he still possessed an extremely heaven-defying battle strength. The sea god was in existence. He was indeed too difficult to deal with. The sea god didn't deal with Lin Feng. Now, for the sea god, the most important thing was to kill his daughter as soon as possible. He didn't want to kill Lin Feng. Killing Lin Feng was of no use to him. Killing the sea maiden. He could be reborn. Once he was reborn, he could play Lin Feng and the others to death in any way he wanted to play Lin Feng and the others to death. The sea god's wishful thinking was quite good. But just as the sea god was about to kill the sea maiden, the sea god suddenly let out a low roar. It was a painful roar. Because the sea god's head. It was pierced. Blood flowed out from the bloody hole on his forehead. "Ha ha ha, do you know how powerful I am?" The cursed doll laughed loudly. Just now, Lin Feng had bought time for the cursed doll and little son to attack. Therefore, he fought the sea god to the death. The cursed doll finally succeeded in hurting the sea god. For a Yin corpse. The head. It was definitely one of the most vulnerable places. Therefore, the sea god was in great pain. His injuries were also very serious. It's you! You deserve to die 10,000 times! The sea god roared angrily. He glared at the cursed doll with resentment. However, he still pounced towards the sea maiden. His obsession was to kill the sea maiden first. Other things. They could all be delayed. This guy was really a heartless person. However, after the sea god's main body was injured, the crown-wearing existence that appeared behind him, the existence that taught him the Azure Dragon, his battle strength was also greatly affected. The existence's trident swept towards the sea maiden. The sea maiden tried to dodge, but she was unable to. However, Lin Feng appeared in front of the sea maiden in time, before the trident swept towards the sea maiden. Lin Feng held the arrow war spear in his hand. He blocked the trident's attack. God says the sun shines on the earth and will eventually dispel evil. At this moment, Little Sun's young and tender face was filled with a sacred feeling. When Little Sun's voice faded away, the rising sun slowly rose into the sky. The rising sun was suspended in the void, shining with dazzling sunlight. The sunlight directly enveloped the sea god. Chi 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 chi. Suddenly, the sea god's body began to burn. The rising sun was indeed powerful. It was extremely effective against Een corpses. Therefore, the sea god's body could not withstand the attack released by the rising sun. Even the powerful existence that the sea god condensed was heavily injured. The powerful existence's body began to shake violently. Moreover, his body began to crack. In the blink of an eye, the powerful existence's body directly disintegrated. Seeing this scene, Lin Feng revealed a look of joy. He quickly charged towards the sea god. Lin Feng became one with the spear. He stabbed towards the sea god's head. Want to kill me? No way! The sea god roared. He grabbed the epical war spear with both hands and actually managed to grab the epical war spear. However, at this moment, Lin Feng's stone man avatar silently appeared behind the sea god. The stone man avatar held a stone sword. The sword slashed towards the sea god. The sea god sensed the stone man avatar, but it was too late to dodge. Pooh! The next moment. Chapter 52-55. Lin Feng recalled the golem clone. Then, he took out his heavenly fire. The flames burned fiercely. The sea god's head and body were enveloped in flames. As the heavenly fire burned, the sea god's head and body quickly dried up. However, the sea god did not die immediately. Can you really bear to watch them kill me? I'm your father. Save me! I don't want to die! The sea god's head spoke. It asked the sea lady for help. TSK, TSK. Sea lady, no matter what, his blood flows in your veins. Do you really want to see him die so miserably? The cursed being looked at the sea lady. This guy, what kind of trick was he trying to play? Of all the cursed beings, he was the worst. He was the cursed being. He was so bad that he used pus. The sea lady ignored the cursed being and looked at the sea god instead. You're already dead. You've become a Een corpse. I know that you'll suffer endless pain after becoming a Een spirit. Therefore, it's better for your soul to scatter. It'll be a form of relief for you. The sea god roared furiously. How can you treat me like this? I'm your father! Lin Feng sneered. What does today's matter have to do with the sea lady? I'm the one who wants to kill you! Lin Feng continued controlling his heavenly fire to burn the sea god's corpse. There were some special creatures. For example, Een corpses like the sea god. Ordinary methods. It was very difficult to kill them. Some special methods were needed. Only then could one kill this guy. Obviously, Lin Feng's heavenly fire was enough to kill a Een corpse like the sea god. Lord Curse Being, save me! Hurry up and save me! The sea god realized that begging the sea lady for help and Lin Feng for mercy was useless, so it began begging the cursed being for help. The cursed being replied, This has nothing to do with me. I already said that you'll have to rely on your own abilities, and whoever is stronger will be able to survive. But then again, even though you're the first sea god, your strength is so trashy. Living is a waste of air, so you might as well just die. After hearing the cursed being's words, the sea god was in complete despair. He could naturally tell that cursing living beings was just an excuse. An excuse not to save him. Was his cultivation level weak? Although he had become a Een corpse. However, his cultivation was still very strong. The reason why they lost to Lin Feng and the others was because they were countered by Lin Feng and the others. This was also something that made the sea god very helpless and depressed. The sea god was unwilling to disappear just like that. Even if he was a Een corpse for the rest of his life. He had to endure endless pain. The sea god didn't want to die either. You or I beg you, spare me, spare me! The sea god looked at the sea maiden with a pleading gaze. Where did that extraordinary father of hers go? Is it? What if he passed away together with his mother? You're really pitiful, the sea lady said. Then, he turned his head away. He no longer paid attention to the sea god. Sea god, your life ends here, Lin Feng sneered. He continued to use heavenly fire to burn the sea god's head and corpse. The sea god. He was burned to ashes. After the sea god was completely burned to ashes, Lin Feng didn't let out a sigh of relief. The sea god was very strong. But he was a corpse. There were ways to counter him. But what about the cursed being? How should he deal with this guy? The cursed being was not something the sea god could compare to. What a good show! The cursed being laughed. What do you want to do to us next? Lin Feng narrowed his eyes and asked the cursed being. What do you think? The cursed being asked. Lin Feng said. I think that we can have a good talk. Perhaps we can have a good talk. If you let us go, we can compensate you in other ways. Hee hee. I love playing games. How about this? Let's play a game, shall we? What game? Lin Feng asked. There are 4 of you. Divide into 2 groups and fight to the death. The victorious group will advance to the next round. The final 2 will continue to fight. The victorious one will leave this place alive, the cursed being said. Lin Feng said. I have to say, you're just as bad as always. I'm giving you a chance to live. You should be grateful to me. If I attack, you'll all die here, said Lin Feng. The cursed being sneered. This guy, he was obviously very confident in himself. It was no wonder that the cursed being was so confident. It was mainly because he was too strong. Lin Feng and the others looked glum. They couldn't kill each other, they couldn't do that. F***CK. Who's afraid of who? Just one word. Let's do it! The cursed doll couldn't help but shout. Kill! Lin Feng wielded the epic war spear and charged at the cursed being. Powerful magic power continuously poured into the epic war spear. The epic war spear even emitted a 3-foot-long spear light. The epic war spear's power instantly reached the pinnacle. It was so powerful that it was absolutely shocking. The cursed creature said. Not bad, not bad, not bad at all. It's amazing that you have such combat strength in your realm. Your treasure is also amazing. Although I don't know what it is, I feel that it's not inferior to an ancient weapon. However, your cultivation is too weak. Such a supreme treasure can only be released by a Saint Realm expert. What realm are you at now? Earth Immortal Realm? You're not even a true immortal yet. You want to activate this supreme treasure? That's a fool's dream. While the cursed being was talking, the little sun appeared. Lil Sun made his move. He manipulated the rising sun to attack the cursed creature. The rising sun sprinkled down endless divine light. It descended from the sky. It suppressed the cursed being. The cursed doll was chanting an incantation. He used the art of curses to deal with the cursed being. As for the sea lady, she controlled the pearl to attack the cursed being. Your talents are not bad. If you continue to grow in the future, you'll all become peerless experts. Unfortunately, you've met me. In front of me, you're just a bunch of ants. The cursed being's voice was indifferent. This guy was really arrogant. He didn't take Lin Feng and the others seriously at all. Cursed wall. Suddenly, the cursed being snorted coldly, and 4 walls appeared around its body. The 4 walls protected him within. Lin Feng stabbed the cursed wall with his spear. He was directly sent flying by the wall. The rising sun pressed down on the cursed wall, and was bounced back into the sky by the cursed wall. The sea lady's pearl was sent flying by the cursed wall. The cursed doll's art of curses. It was directly swallowed by the cursed wall. The cursed being easily dissolved the powerful attacks of Lin Feng and the others. This guy. Chapter 52-56. The current situation was too bad for Lin Feng and the others. After all, The opponent's attack was too terrifying. It was simply unsolvable. Lin Feng and the others also had the feeling that their hands were tied. "If this is all you have, then you will soon go to hell," the cursed being said sinisterly. This guy's voice was as terrifying as the voice that came from hell. "What should we do?" the cursed doll asked with a gloomy face. Lin Feng also wanted to ask what to do. Now, Lin Feng was really depressed. That was because this cursed living being was simply way too strong. Lin Feng couldn't think of a way to fight against the cursed being for a while. Moreover, Lin Feng also knew that the other party would definitely not give them too much time. Perhaps, could he ask the Demon Lord for help? This was the only way Lin Feng could think of. "Yao Jun, I need your help this time," said Lin Feng. Said Lin Feng telepathically. Under normal circumstances, Lin Feng rarely asked the Demon Lord for help. Firstly, it was very difficult to ask the Demon Lord for help. Secondly, sometimes Lin Feng couldn't contact the Demon Lord. Thirdly, Lin Feng deliberately didn't ask the Demon Lord for help. After all, if he asked the Demon Lord for help when he was in danger, it would be extremely detrimental to his growth. But this time, it was different. This time, the danger that Lin Feng and the others were in was too great. Lin Feng and the others had no other choice. Therefore, they could only ask the Demon Lord for help. Buzz! The Demon Lord flew out of the demon orb. Then, he looked at the cursed being. The cursed being sneered and said, "I've long felt that there was a powerful life form in that kid's body. It seems that my feeling was not wrong. Let him go," the Demon Lord said. "Haha, are you daydreaming? I want to eat all of you," the cursed being said sinisterly. Then, he quickly charged towards the group of people. "Step back," the Demon Lord said solemnly. Hearing this, Lin Feng and the others quickly retreated. The Demon Lord, on the other hand, made a series of hand seals. Next, countless divine weapons fell from the void. He didn't know what kind of divine ability the Demon Lord was using. It was actually so powerful, and so strange. Any random divine weapon. They could easily pierce through the void. It was unknown how many divine weapons there were. Just how powerful was the power of those divine weapons? It was simply unimaginable. Lin Feng exclaimed. The current Demon Lord was truly unfathomable. The cursed doll knew the Demon Lord, but in the past, the Demon Lord was not as strong as he was now. The cursed doll mumbled. "How did this guy become so powerful?" The cursed doll was a little confused. According to its understanding, even if the Demon Lord's strength was restored to its peak, it would still be far from being as powerful as it was now. And the Demon Lord's body was his own condensed flesh and blood. This kind of flesh and blood body was still a little different from the flesh and blood body born in the mother's womb. It was hard to say exactly what was different, but some differences could be found during cultivation. But the current Demon Lord was too powerful. And he had become so powerful in such a short period of time. This was what the cursed doll was suspicious about. Actually, Lin Feng knew what was going on. It was mainly because the Demon Lord had awakened the memories of Emperor Yao's time. Therefore, only then did an incomprehensible and incomparably shocking transformation take place. However, Lin Feng did not tell the cursed doll what had happened to the Demon Lord. That was the Demon Lord's privacy. Without the Demon Lord's permission, Lin Feng naturally couldn't casually tell others about the Demon Lord's privacy. Even if it was a friend, he couldn't casually reveal it. Respecting others' privacy. It was also respecting himself. Facing the Demon Lord's attack, the cursed creature made its move. A huge whirlpool appeared behind the cursed creature. That whirlpool was formed by the power of the curse. That whirlpool contained unimaginable terrifying power. When the endless divine weapons came crashing down, all the divine weapons were swallowed by that whirlpool. The Demon Lord stepped forward. It was as if he had come from the ninth heaven. He displayed a powerful divine ability. This divine ability was called the Nine Heavens Immortal Rending Art. It was definitely an unparalleled divine ability. The demon lord turned into an immortal light from the ninth heaven and quickly attacked the cursed creature. 10,000 snakes coiling divine technique. At this moment, the cursed being unleashed a powerful mystic skill as well. In the void, a dense swarm of golden venomous snakes appeared. Those golden poisonous snakes were about a meter long. They all rushed towards the demon lord's immortal light. Then, the golden poisonous snakes wrapped around the demon lord's immortal light. It was naturally very difficult to wrap around the demon lord's immortal light. The golden poisonous snakes were cut off by the demon lord's immortal light. However, not all the golden poisonous snakes were cut off by the demon lord's immortal light. There were still some poisonous snakes wrapped around the demon lord's immortal light. Those poisonous snakes opened their mouths and bit towards the immortal light. They only flew half the distance. The demon lord had already turned into his original appearance. Cursed trial. Just at this moment, the cursed creature roared. When the cursed creature's voice fell, a thick beam of light formed by the power of the curse directly blasted towards the demon lord. It was like the lightning of the thunder tribulation. The beam of light formed by the power of the curse was extremely terrifying. It fiercely blasted towards the demon lord. The demon lord wanted to avoid it, but he couldn't avoid the attack of the cursed light beam. A muffled sound of collision was heard. Something terrible happened. The demon lord was blasted away by the cursed creature's cursed light beam. The cursed creature. It was extremely terrifying. And at this time, the cursed creature directly rushed towards the demon lord. An ancient Tao word condensed in the cursed creature's hand. That Tao word. It was the word death. Its power was incomparably tyrannical. After feeling the power of that Tao word, Lin Feng's expression couldn't help but change slightly. Taking the attack of that Tao word, the demon lord would probably be severely injured, right? The cursed creature quickly rushed in front of the demon lord. Just as the palm was about to hit the demon lord's body, suddenly, the demon lord's body became illusory. The demon lord's supernatural power was a bit like an illusory spell. But it wasn't an illusory spell. It was just a supernatural power with a very similar function. Bang! That palm strike struck nothing but air. The demon lord's body immediately solidified. Then, a palm hit the cursed creature's body and directly sent the cursed creature flying. Chapter 52-57. After seeing the reversal of the battle, Lin Feng and the others couldn't help but show joy on their faces. They didn't know if the demon lord could successfully kill the cursed being. Lin Feng and the others stood in the distance, ready to support the demon lord at any time. Although they weren't a match for the cursed being, Lin Feng and the others' cultivation was extremely powerful. In fact, they could play a huge role in the critical moment. The sword energy formed by the demon lord was like a sword energy that could split heaven and earth. The power of the sword energy was so strong. It was absolutely shocking. After feeling the terrifying power of the sword energy, the cursed being sneered. The cursed being was quickly chanting an incantation. Before the sword energy slashed his body, suddenly, the sound of a violent collision was heard. The cursed being activated the curse technique. The curse technique fiercely bombarded the sword energy formed by the demon lord. And the demon lord was beaten back to his original form. Then, the powerful curse power turned into dense runes. Those runes, all of them were suppressed towards the demon lord's body. The dense runes wrapped around the demon lord. Damn! After seeing this scene, Lin Feng and the others couldn't help but curse in a low voice. The battle between the demon lord and the cursed being was really turning around. The reason for this situation was that the battle power of the demon lord and the cursed being was very likely to be on par. Therefore, when they fought, it was very difficult to quickly take down the other side. Therefore, the situation in front of them appeared. After the demon lord's body was wrapped by the cursed runes, the demon lord knew that the situation was not good. Therefore, he quickly retreated, and at the same time, a powerful demon essence surged out of his body. The demon lord wanted to use the powerful demon essence to dissolve the powerful curse runes. It was just that it wasn't easy to dissolve those powerful cursed runes in a short period of time. The cursed being's combat experience was obviously very rich. He immediately caught up to the demon lord. The cursed spirit sneered. "Not bad, you can fight me for so long, but you're still a bit weak. Die." The cursed being slammed its palm towards the demon lord's head. If there was a weak point in a cultivator's body, then there would be one. Heart. The head was one of the weakest parts of the body. However, his heart was protected by the strong bones of a cultivator, so it was still fine. However, the head was different. Once the head was attacked, it could easily cause damage to the soul. If one's soul was severely injured, it was very likely that one's soul would dissipate. They might even feel dizzy. As such, an injury to the head was a very troublesome matter. Divine Art of Chaos. At this time, the demon lord couldn't help but roar. He used a powerful divine ability. The Chaos Divine Art used by the demon lord was a divine ability that targeted the soul. When the demon lord used the Chaos Divine Art of Chaos, the cursed being that was attacking the demon lord was suddenly greatly affected. His soul became chaotic. However, the cursed being was strong enough. Although his soul was chaotic by the demon lord, it was only for a short period of time. In just a few breaths of time, the demon lord had completely recovered. Of course, although the cursed being's soul was chaotic for a short period of time, it was enough for the demon lord. The demon lord took advantage of this time to quickly retreat, increasing the distance between him and the cursed being. Then he continued to break the curse runes that sealed him. Die! After recovering, the cursed being's voice was incomparably cold. He quickly attacked the demon lord. He didn't want to give the demon lord time to break his curse runes. The cursed being knew that the demon lord was difficult to deal with. If he gave the demon lord time to break his curse runes, it would be very difficult to seal the demon lord again. When the cursed being attacked the demon lord, another kind of powerful energy surged out of the demon lord's body. That energy was a kind of golden energy. It was very sacred, as if it was a power that could enlighten thousands of people. The power of the human emperor! How can you condense the power of the human emperor? Seeing the golden energy emitted from the demon lord's body, the cursed being immediately cried out in alarm. He couldn't believe his eyes. The power of the human emperor? Isn't it only the human emperor who knows how to condense it? The cursed doll couldn't help but mutter. He narrowed his eyes, thinking about how the demon lord could condense the power of the human emperor. When the power of the human emperor surged out of the demon lord's body, something shocking happened. The curse runes that the cursed doll had condensed earlier were quickly disintegrated by the power of the human emperor. Human emperor's palm! The demon lord said coldly. He took a step forward and slapped the cursed doll with his palm. The demon lord now seemed to be different from before. He didn't seem to be a demon anymore. Instead, he had become the human emperor. His body was enveloped by a golden holy light. There was a sense of holiness. Bang! The sound of a violent collision was heard. The demon lord and the cursed being collided violently. The demon lord's human emperor's palm was really powerful. It directly sent the cursed being flying. Human emperor's brush creates mountains and rivers of eternity. The demon lord made his move again. A brush appeared in his hand. It was a brush. Although it was illusory. However, that brush gave off a sacred and inviolable feeling. The Emperor Brush. The demon lord had condensed the Emperor Brush. In fact, Lin Feng had obtained some clues about the Emperor Brush before, but he hadn't looked for it. The Emperor Brush. It was the human race's top treasure. Yao Jun must have seen the Emperor Brush in his previous life. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to condense the Emperor Brush. Even if it was just a shadow of the Emperor Brush. Even so, it was still able to display a terrifying might that would cause one to be moved. When the demon lord held the human emperor's brush and drew across the void, his brush showed thousands of miles of mountains, rivers, and billions of worlds. Bang! The cursed being was sent flying. In midair, he couldn't help but vomit blood. The cursed creature roared furiously. Damn it! Damn it! You've injured me! You've completely infuriated me! I'll make you die without a burial place! The injured cursed creature roared furiously. Cursed Lord! He couldn't help but shout coldly. Then, the power of the curse behind him started to roll violently. The power of the curse contained a terrifying power that could destroy the heavens and the earth. The power of the curse instantly condensed into a terrifying being. Previously, the cursed creature had shouted the words, Lord of Curses. So, Lin Feng guessed that the terrifying being condensed by the cursed being was the legendary Curse Lord. An unfathomable and unimaginably powerful existence. End of chapter. Chapter 52-58. The Lord of Curses was a mysterious existence to Lin Feng and the others. No one knew what kind of creature the Lord of Curses was. However, the Lord of Curses' power was self-evident. No one dared to underestimate the Lord of Curses. Even if it was just a Lord of Curses summoned by the Lord of Curses. Even if this Lord of Curses wasn't real. It was just an illusion. However, it still exerted a strong pressure on everyone. Facing the Lord of Curses, the Demon Lord's expression turned serious. Which space-time is he in? The Demon Lord looked at the Lord of Curses and asked. The Lord of Curses looked at the Demon Lord in disdain and said, Do you think you have the right to ask this question? It seemed that the Lord of Curses really didn't care about the Demon Lord. Even if he had suffered a loss at the hands of the Demon Lord, but this guy was still very arrogant. Some people were like this. They felt that their bloodline was high and mighty. Other people's bloodlines. They were all lowly bloodlines. There were too many such cultivators in the world of cultivators. Too many. Too many to mention. The Lord of Curses was such an existence. Destroy. At this moment, the Lord of Curses spoke. He slammed his palm toward the Demon Lord. In an instant, the word, annihilation, condensed in his palm. He condensed the word, heaven, earth, and Tao, to attack the enemy. Naturally, the attacks they unleashed were incomparably powerful. The word heaven contained the power of the heavenly Tao. Such a powerful attack. Who would dare to underestimate it? The Demon Lord formed seals with both hands. At the same time, he kept chanting. No one knew what kind of powerful technique the Demon Lord was going to use. Looking at the Demon Lord's serious expression, the divine ability that the Demon Lord was going to use must be a peerless ultimate technique, right? Earth Emperor's Book. The Demon Lord's voice resounded throughout heaven and earth. After he finished speaking, Yi Zichen's voice faded away. An ancient book appeared in front of the Demon Lord. That book. It seemed to be the Earth Emperor's book that the Demon Lord had mentioned. Lin Feng was very surprised. In myths and legends, the human race had 3 supreme treasures. They were Emperor's Sword, Earth Emperor's Book, Emperor Brush. The reason why these 3 supreme treasures were so powerful was that they had been forged with the wisdom of the human race. Other than that, these were 3 supreme treasures. There was another amazing aspect. That is, the 3 supreme treasures had been refined by 9 generations of heavenly sovereigns, earthly sovereigns, and human sovereigns respectively. Its power was naturally incomparably strong. Previously, the Demon Lord had conjured an Emperor Brush. Now, he had summoned the phantom image of the Earth Emperor's Book. Earth Emperor's Book! Be virtuous! The Demon Lord spoke. The Earth Emperor's Book slowly opened. At this moment, the other party's attack had already arrived. Bang! When the Lord of Curses' attack landed on the Earth Emperor's Book, something shocking happened. The Lord of Curses' attack was so powerful, but when it collided with the Earth Emperor's Book, all of its power was devoured by the Earth Emperor's Book. This also confirmed the Demon Lord's words. Earth Emperor's Book. Be virtuous. This meant that the Earth Emperor's Book could contain everything. In that case, the other party's attack would naturally be contained by the Earth Emperor's Book. This was the extraordinary and terrifying aspect of the Earth Emperor's Book. Of course, this was only the phantom image of the Earth Emperor's Book. It wasn't the real Earth Emperor's book. If it was the real Earth Emperor's book, it would be even more terrifying. Furthermore, Lin Feng had heard that the real Earth Emperor's book recorded the supreme techniques of the human race. If he could cultivate those supreme techniques of the human race, it would definitely be a huge boost to his combat strength. However, Lin Feng didn't know where the real Earth Emperor's book was. He guessed that even the Demon Lord didn't know. The 9th generation Earth Emperor died in battle after the Primordial Age. The Earth Emperor's book that had been passed down for countless years had disappeared without a trace. No one knew where it had ended up. Or perhaps, was it sealed in some place? All of these were extremely possible. At this moment, after the Demon Lord used the Earth Emperor's book to block the attack of the Lord of Curses, he launched a counterattack against the Lord of Curses. The Demon Lord's left hand held the Earth Emperor's book. His right hand held the Emperor Brush. Emperor Brush. With one stroke, he would write down the glorious history of the human race. The Emperor Brush gently drew in the air. An unimaginably terrifying power. Instantly it surged out. That terrifying power. It directly swept across the Lord of Curses. Poof! A tearing sound could be heard. Someone as powerful as the Lord of Curses was unable to resist. The Lord of Curses' body was pierced through. At the same time, his body was swept away. So powerful! Seeing the Demon Lord's power, Lin Feng and the rest couldn't help but reveal shocked expressions. Although the Demon Lord was no longer the ancient Saint Emperor of the human race. However, the Demon Lord had awakened some of his past memories. Therefore, he could still use some of the ancient Saint Emperor's divine powers. And those divine powers were indeed terrifying. The Demon Lord held the Emperor Brush and the Earth Emperor's book and attacked the Lord of Curses once again. Although the Lord of Curses was powerful, he was facing the Demon Lord who was both offensive and defensive. The Lord of Curses' situation was extremely bad. Life and death with one stroke. The Demon Lord's voice had a sense of sacredness. Although he was doing things like killing people, his entire being seemed so sacred and inviolable. Bang! The Demon Lord came in front of the Lord of Curses and swept the Lord of Curses' body with the Emperor Brush in his hand. The Lord of Curses suffered a heavy blow. The Lord of Curses' body directly split open. This time, the Lord of Curses was struck by lightning. Many cracks appeared on his body. Imprison you in the mountains and rivers. The Demon Lord continued speaking. The Earth Emperor's book opened. It directly swallowed the Lord of Curses. Break! The Lord of Curses' palm was surrounded by a strong power of curses. Then, it blasted towards the Earth Emperor's book, trying to break it. However, the Lord of Curses failed. The Earth Emperor's book. It swallowed all attacks. The Lord of Curses' attack was swallowed by the Earth Emperor's book. Then, the Lord of Curses was also swallowed by the Earth Emperor's book. Go to hell! At this moment, the Lord of Curses attacked. The Lord of Curses' body directly disintegrated, turning into an endless amount of power of curses that surged towards the Demon Lord. A huge ball of cursed light formed, trapping the Demon Lord within. This was probably one of the Lord of Curses' trump cards. The Demon Lord struggled for a while, as if he was about to break free from the ball of cursed light. Explode! However, at this moment, the voice of the Lord of Curses could be heard. In the next moment, the ball of curse light that the Lord of Curses had turned into exploded. Bang! The Demon Lord was also sent flying by the explosion. Wah! The Demon Lord spat out large mouthfuls of blood. His face was as white as a sheet. The Lord of Curses had self-destructed. It had severely injured the Demon Lord. Demon Lord, how are you? Lin Feng quickly rushed towards the Demon Lord. He's not dead yet. The Demon Lord struggled, trying to get up. However, the Demon Lord's words caused the expressions of Lin Feng and the others to change. End of chapter. Chapter 52-59. If the curse being was still alive, how terrifying would it be? That would be terrifying. After all, the Demon Lord was currently heavily injured. It was likely that he would not be able to resist the cursed being. However, the cursed being had clearly self-detonated earlier. Self-detonation? It wasn't dead? Lin Feng was extremely puzzled. If the cursed being hadn't self-detonated, the Demon Lord wouldn't have been injured. Lin Feng and the others looked around cautiously. Right at this moment, a sinister voice rang out. "That's right, I'm not dead yet. You'll all be dead soon." The cursed energy was churning. Within the cursed energy, the cursed being appeared once again. When they saw the cursed being, the expressions of Lin Feng and the others turned as ugly as they could. The cursed being looked at the Demon Lord and said, "You are indeed an amazing person. Even I am no match for you, but so what? Some of the techniques I have are beyond your reach. For example, I chose to self-detonate earlier. Isn't that terrifying? I'm sure you've already felt how powerful the self-detonation of an expert at my level is. Now that you're heavily injured, how are you going to fight me?" The Demon Lord asked with a gloomy expression. "Why is it that nothing happened to you after you self-detonated?" This was also the question that Lin Feng and the others wanted to ask. Logically speaking, once a cultivator self-detonated, they would die. However, nothing happened to the cursed being after he self-detonated. This didn't seem to make sense. Lin Feng felt that something special must have happened. Otherwise, this shouldn't have happened. "This is because I was born from the Cursed Lord's origin energy. As long as the Cursed Lord doesn't die, I can be reborn endlessly." Reborn endlessly. When Lin Feng and the others read this word, they all smiled bitterly. If the cursed being could be reborn endlessly, who could be its match? This guy's methods were too terrifying. The current situation was extremely bad for Lin Feng and the others. "I'm going to eat you," the cursed being said sinisterly. Just as he was about to launch another attack, suddenly, the void cracked open. Then, a claw reached out from the crack in the void. The next moment, a small beast appeared. This little beast was indeed not big. It was only a dozen centimeters tall. Its body was round and silvery white in color. He wondered what kind of creature it was. He was also wearing a straw hat. Most importantly, this guy was even wearing a pair of black glasses. He had an incomparably cool expression on his face. "Excuse me, where is this?" the guy asked. Lin Feng and the others were all in a state of confusion. Who was this guy? This get-up, was he still missing a cape? "Sorry for bothering you." Seeing that no one was paying attention to him, this guy immediately said. Then, he wanted to tear open the void and leave again. But at this moment, the cursed being sneered and said, "Do you think this is your home? You can come and go as you please." As his voice fell, the cursed being directly slapped at the guy who looked super cool. That super cool guy slapped the cursed being across the void with his claw. Bang! The cursed being was sent flying by the super cool guy. Moreover, what was even more shocking was that the cursed being's body directly exploded. It was as strong as the power of the curse. It couldn't even withstand a single attack from that guy. After seeing this scene, Lin Feng and the others were shocked. This guy was too terrifying, wasn't he? "Ah!" the cursed being roared angrily. He was reborn in the power of the curse. "I want your life." The cursed being directly flew towards the super cool guy. He seemed to want to use self-destruction to deal with this super cool guy. "Little bastard, you're quite capable. You're actually immortal and indestructible. This is because you haven't met this grandpa yet." The super cool guy couldn't help but twitch his mouth. He made a grabbing motion in the air. Suddenly, a powerful force enveloped the cursed being. The cursed being's body involuntarily flew towards the super cool guy. The cursed being wanted to self-destruct. But he realized he didn't even have the ability to self-destruct. This caused the cursed being to be extremely depressed. And the super cool guy punched the cursed being's face one after another. In fact, if the super cool guy wanted to kill the cursed being, he could do so in one move. But the super cool guy obviously didn't want to kill the cursed being so easily. Every time he punched, he would say, Who told you to act cool? Who told you to act cool? Who told you to act cool? Bang, bang, bang. The sound of punches and punches on the face could be heard one after another. Super cool guy. He was definitely an existence that couldn't be provoked. When had the cursed being ever been humiliated like this? Even in the battle with the Demon Lord, although he had been defeated by the Demon Lord, both sides had gone through a fierce battle. In the end, he had gained the upper hand because the Demon Lord had been seriously injured by his self-destruction. But in this battle with the super cool guy, he had been completely crushed. He didn't even have the strength to fight back. This made the cursed being extremely depressed. Stop fighting. I'm an existence born from the origin energy of the Cursed Lord. For the sake of the Cursed Lord, please spare me. The cursed being shouted. The cursed being shouted loudly. This guy had actually brought out the Lord of Curses. He wanted to use the Cursed Lord to save himself. Hee hee, and here I thought you were some kind of badass. You're just an existence born from someone else's origin chi. What right do you have to act like a badass? Anyone who acts like a badass in front of Grandpa Arrogant will be taught a lesson by me, and that includes you. The cursed being said, I'm an immortal existence. You can't kill me. If you leave now, I won't tell the Cursed Lord about what happened today. If you don't leave, I'll tell the Cursed Lord about what happened today. Tell the Cursed Lord? Do you think I'm afraid of that little bastard, the Lord of Curses? Immortal? Today, I'll destroy both your body and soul. The super cool guy laughed coldly. Then, he reached out his right hand and lightly tapped the cursed being's forehead. The cursed being's body instantly exploded. Moreover, the surrounding curse energy dissipated. The cursed being could no longer be revived. Lin Feng was shocked. The cursed being had really been killed. End of chapter. Chapter 5260. In the blink of an eye, he had killed the cursed being. Such power, it had already reached a level that Lin Feng could not fathom. Even the Demon Lord was deeply shocked because he knew how powerful the cursed being was. It was precisely because he knew how powerful the cursed being was that Lin Feng and the others could not comprehend the shock in his heart when he saw the cursed being killed so easily. What a noob! You actually dare to act cool in front of me, Lord Tual. Pooh! The super cool guy curled his lips and spat before turning around to leave. Lin Feng remembered that this guy called himself Lord Tual. Lin Feng hurriedly said, Lord Tual, please wait. When he saw a beautiful woman, he wanted to flirt with her, so he said, Fairy, please wait. Lin Feng realized that when he said, Lord Tual, please wait, to a strange-looking little beast, he did not feel strange at all. It seemed that in the future, he could also say, Fairy, please wait, to those beautiful girls and then start flirting with them. This was really an innate talent. Lord Tual turned to look at Lin Feng. He was a little apprehensive, so he asked, Why did you call me? Cough, cough, Junior. Lin Feng cupped his fists. Actually, he wanted to get to know Lord Tual. Lord Tual was really too awesome. He did not know what kind of existence he was. If he could get to know Lord Tual, in the future, he could use Lord Tual's tiger skin to support him. I still have something to do, so I'll leave first. See you later. No, no, no. Never again. Lord Tual did not wait for Lin Feng to finish speaking and waved his hand. Then, he instantly tore through the void and disappeared. Damn! Why did he run away? Lin Feng felt that Lord Tual was a little strange. Was the one who ran away just now really that awesome, number one Lord Tual in the world? Why did it feel like he was running away? Lord Tual traveled through time and space, using the great space-time teleportation. Damn, I actually met a descendant of that family. I'm really speechless. Fortunately, he doesn't know me. Otherwise, it would be troublesome. Lord Tual could not help but feel speechless. Then, he muttered, Speaking of which, I wonder if that old thing is already dead. Lord Tual, of course, but then he sighed. Lin Feng couldn't hear Mr. Tual. If he had heard him, he would have been astonished. Surprisingly, Mr. Tua knew his ancestor. After Lord Tua left, the cursed doll lay on the ground and gasped for breath. That was really dangerous. But who is that guy who called himself Lord Tua? How is he so powerful? Yao Jun, who do you think he is? Asked Lin Feng. Looking at Yao Jun, Mr. Tua was mysterious, but Yao Jun was knowledgeable. He also had the memories of the Holy Emperor. Maybe she knew about Lord Tua's background. Yao Jun said, If I'm not wrong, this Lord Tua. It's very likely that Lord Tua is related to the Wastelands. He's related to the Wastelands? Lin Feng couldn't help but feel astonished. Wastelands? It was very mysterious. Leng Zishi had come from the Wastelands. However, Leng Zishi had not woken up yet. Lin Feng felt that she might wake up soon. When the time came, he could ask Leng Zishi if she had heard of Lord Tua. Of course, this is just my guess. I don't know if I'm right. I need some time to recover. If there's nothing important, don't contact me for now. Of course, even if you try to contact me, you probably won't be able to. As soon as he finished speaking, the demon lord quickly flew back into the demon orb. The cursed doll said, I think that what Yao Jun said is very likely. That guy is most likely a creature from the wasteland. Apart from the wasteland, it's very difficult for such a powerful being to appear anywhere else, including the 3 paramount realms. It's very difficult for such a terrifying being to appear. Lin Feng nodded and said, Let's leave this place first. Everyone quickly nodded. They naturally did not want to stay in this place any longer. This place made them feel very depressed. It was very uncomfortable. Even if the cursed creature was already dead, this place still made them feel very uncomfortable. The group quickly rushed outside. They left the ancient city of the sea god. How are we going to return to the real world? The cursed child asked. Maybe we can wait for that light to appear, Lin Feng said. Then let's wait for a while, the cursed child said. Lin Feng and the others were quite lucky. They only had to wait for a day before the light appeared. Lin Feng and the others threw themselves in the direction of the beam of light, and when the beam of light hit them, the beam of light hit them. Lin Feng and the others instantly disappeared from the ancient city of the sea god. There was a flash of light. Lin Feng and the others appeared in the sea outside. They did not stop and quickly left. 10 days later, Lin Feng and the others landed on an island called Chongming Island. The island was not very big, but it was very lively. It was a gathering place for cultivators. After arriving, Lin Feng and the others found a place to stay and planned to cultivate in seclusion. They needed to adjust their state of mind. While Lin Feng and the others were cultivating in seclusion, Taoist Qin Shan, Immortal Qianhe, Lu Wuchen, and Elder Ku Hai arrived at the sea god's domain. They had come here because they had received news about Lin Feng and knew that he had come to the sea god's domain. Thus, they came to find Lin Feng. First, they wanted to meet up with Lin Feng. Second, they wanted to see if there was anything they could do to help Lin Feng. After the 4 experts arrived, they began to search for Lin Feng's whereabouts. At the same time, something big happened in the sea god's domain. And that was, the mysterious ancient city of the sea god had emerged from the sea world. Then, it slowly rose into the sky. Finally, it hovered in midair. When the news spread, countless cultivators were alarmed. Many people felt that a great opportunity was about to appear. Many cultivators from the inland world heard the news and headed to the sea god's domain. Cultivators from the sea world also rushed over from various large seas. Lin Feng and the others only found out about the appearance of the ancient city of the sea god after they came out of seclusion. The last time we went there, there was nothing in the ancient city of the sea god. I wonder if the treasures have been hidden away? The cursed doll asked. The immortal Qian said. Of course, it's also possible that there really aren't any treasures left. The ancient city of the sea god is like a huge trap waiting for others to enter. However, many cultivators who don't know the truth feel that the ancient city of the sea god must have many opportunities waiting for them to explore. Lin Feng said. What if there are still treasures in the ancient city of the sea god? If that's true, does it mean that we went there at the wrong time? That's why we didn't find any treasures or encounter any opportunities. Do you think that's possible? Chapter 52-61. We can go over there and take a look. It's not a big deal anyway, the cursed doll said. The suggestion was unanimously agreed. When Lin Feng and the others arrived outside of the Sea God's ancient city, there was already a huge crowd. The ancient Sea God's city's restriction was enveloped by a powerful restriction. When Lin Feng and the others saw the ancient city, there were no restrictions. Something had indeed happened in the ancient city. Therefore, that was why the ancient city had such changes. Many people were waiting for the ancient city to open. Then, they could enter the ancient city to look for opportunities. Lin Feng saw some old acquaintances. For example, the patrolling evil god, Xie, and the others. These people had all come here to look for opportunities. They didn't act rashly. Instead, they waited for an opportunity to enter the ancient city. Lin Feng and the others didn't get too close to the ancient city. They were in the outer region of the ancient city. This way, they could avoid the detection of the patrolling evil god and the others. Fellow Taoist Lin! That's great! I really found you here! At that moment, a surprised voice sounded. Lin Feng looked over and saw 4 people flying over. They were Taoist Qing Shan and the others. After seeing the 4 of them, Lin Feng's face couldn't help but reveal a happy expression. Lin Feng had gone to look for the 4 powerhouses. But he hadn't been able to find them. So, he had asked the people of the all-knowing pavilion to spread some news. If the 4 powerhouses knew about the news, they would know where he was. At that time, they would be able to contact each other. It seemed, the 4 powerhouses had indeed heard about him. Since they had come to look for him, this meant, they had probably found the place where Saint Ancestor Samsara had passed away. Fellow Taoists, it's been a few years. How is everything? Lin Feng cupped his fists and asked. It's fine, it's fine. Taoist Qing Shan and the others hurriedly nodded. Everyone was a little emotional. Time had indeed passed too quickly. The scene of them sitting together to discuss the location where Saint Ancestor Samsara had passed away was still vivid in their minds. In the blink of an eye, several years had passed. Just like that, time had passed silently. Said Lin Feng. Let me introduce you, said Lin Feng. This is my friend, the cursed doll. This is my brother, Little Sunday. This is my other friend, Yuer. Lin Feng introduced the cursed doll and the others to the 4 powerhouses. Lin Feng didn't tell them that Yuer was the sea girl. Because the sea girl had walked out of those unfortunate days, she needed a new identity, not the other way round. She continued immersing herself in the past. Lin Feng introduced the 4 strong cultivators to the cursed child and the others. This is Taoist Qing Shan. This is immortal Qian He. This is fellow Taoist Lu. This is old man Withered Sea. A great my pleasure. After Lin Feng finished introducing them, they both clenched their fists and greeted each other. After everyone got to know each other, Fairy Qian He smiled and said, We were looking for you in the Sea God's domain, but we didn't find anything useful. Then, news of the Sea God's ancient city appearing spread throughout the Sea God's domain. When we heard about it, we guessed that you might be heading to the Sea God's ancient city. So, we hurried over. When we arrived, we saw you, Lin Feng said with a smile. I was planning to go look for you. Meeting you here is truly a joyous occasion. After pausing for a moment, Lin Feng continued, Fellow Taoists, since you came to look for me, does that mean you've already found the location where Saint Ancestor Samsara died? The 4 nodded. They couldn't help but smile. Saint Ancestor Samsara was such a terrifying existence. They had actually found the location where he died. Once they entered, they might be able to obtain a great fortune. Moreover, most importantly, they were the only ones who knew where sacred ancestor Samsara had died. It was different from the Sea God's ancient city. If a fortune appeared in the Sea God's ancient city, it would definitely be fought over by countless cultivators. It was hard to say who would obtain it in the end. If one's luck was bad, They might even die in the process of fighting over the fortune. Or they might be killed and their treasures stolen. All of these were highly possible. Lin Feng said, "Let's take a look at the situation in the sea god's ancient city first. Then, we'll discuss where Saint Ancestor Samsara died." The four experts didn't have any objections to this. Perhaps there was a great fortune waiting for them in the sea god's ancient city? Even if there were many people fighting over it, however, their strength wasn't bad. Now that they had Lin Feng and the others, their strength had increased. Naturally, they could compete for it. 3 days later, the restrictions around the sea god's ancient city gradually dissipated. Many cultivators impatiently flew towards the city and pushed open the gates. A large number of cultivators entered the sea god's ancient city. When Lin Feng entered the city, he was astonished. Curse energy! Why was there curse energy here? Didn't curse energy dissipate with the death of the cursed being? We can't stay here for long. Let's go, the cursed doll said. Clearly, the cursed doll had sensed that something was wrong. Why are we leaving? Lu Wuchen asked, puzzled. It's not convenient to talk about it here. Let's go, Lin Feng said. The four experts didn't understand what was going on. However, they still nodded. They squeezed their way out with Lin Feng and the others. Everyone was rushing in. Only Lin Feng and the others walked out. Lin Feng and the others didn't try to persuade the cultivators who had entered the city. Mo Fei tried to persuade them. Would they just leave? Of course not. They were waiting to enter and search for the fortune. Who would listen to others' advice? Lin Feng and the others flew out of the sea god's ancient city. Then, they flew into the distance. The group stood in the void and watched as a large number of cultivators poured into the sea god's ancient city. The four experts were still very confused. They didn't know why Lin Feng and the others had chosen to leave at this time. Did they not want the fortune in the sea god's ancient city? Qin Shan Daoist asked. Why did you leave? Lin Feng said. Before the sea god's ancient city appeared, we entered it, and almost died inside. At that time, we didn't find any fortune and were lucky enough to leave the city. Later, the city appeared again, and we wondered if the time we entered was wrong, so we didn't find any fortune. So, we decided to enter and explore the city. However, as soon as we entered, we discovered that the city was shrouded in a terrifying curse energy. The cursed being that wanted to kill us was very likely stronger than a true immortal. We thought that it was already dead, but now it seems that it's possible that it's still alive. Those people who entered were simply sending themselves to their deaths. When they heard Lin Feng's words, the four experts' expressions changed. Please remember the domain name of this book, mobile version of this book. Chapter 5262. The four experts who originally wanted to enter the ancient sea god's city did not plan to do so now. Taoist Qingshan said, Since we've decided not to go to the ancient sea god's city, why don't we go to the West Sea and see if we can enter the place where sacred ancestor Samsara fell? If we can, there will be great opportunities waiting for us. Hearing this, everyone nodded. Everyone had great expectations and interest in entering the place where sacred ancestor Samsara fell. Lin Feng was extremely obsessed with entering the place because Lin Feng wanted to enter the reincarnation passage to find Feng Yaoguang. Sacred ancestor Samsara's supreme treasure, the gate of reincarnation, could connect to the reincarnation passage. Therefore, if they could find the gate of reincarnation, it meant that Lin Feng could use this supreme treasure to enter the reincarnation passage. The ancient starship Xianyuan was flying quickly above the sea. Lin Feng and the others were sitting in the cabin. Spiritual tea was boiling on the table. Lin Feng and the others chatted and talked about what had happened in the past few years. Lin Feng briefly talked about some of the things he had experienced in the past few years. The four experts also told Lin Feng about some of the things they had experienced in the past few years. When the four experts came to the West Sea, they began to search for the place where sacred ancestor Samsara fell. Because the four experts had already found some clues, their goal was very clear. They followed the clues, but unfortunately the clues were cut off. The four experts then went to several dangerous sea areas to look for new clues. They had experienced many dangers in those seas, and they had really found some clues. Shattered Sea Area. This was a sea area deep in the West Sea world. The reason why the Shattered Sea Area was called so was because this place was very strange. The void was originally intact. It could break at any time. This was an extremely terrifying thing. If one was sucked into the broken void. For cultivators, it was simply a disaster. Therefore, very few people went to that place. Of course, it did not mean that no one entered the Shattered Sea Area. The Shattered Sea Area was rich in some special treasures. Therefore, some cultivators took the risk to enter the Shattered Sea Area to look for those treasures. When the four experts entered the Shattered Sea Area, they almost died. According to the four experts, there was an extremely terrifying creature in the Shattered Sea Area. Every time the fog appeared at night, that terrifying creature would appear. At that time, the four experts met that terrifying creature. Fortunately, the four experts were lucky and managed to escape. This made Lin Feng was very surprised. What was this creature in the Shattered Sea Area? How could it be so powerful? Asked Lin Feng. Even the four strong cultivators didn't know what it was. 3 months later, Lin Feng and the others arrived at the Broken Sea territory. The Shattered Sea domain was indeed a terrifying place. From time to time, the void would shatter. When the void shattered, a large amount of space-time energy gushed out. Even the was to the sky was to not to the shattered space to the sky to the was to the sky sea area. If you were to be swept into the space-time turbulence by the space-time energy, it would definitely be an extremely tragic thing. Lin Feng and the rest flew down from the Xianyuan ancient starship. The Xianyuan ancient starship was huge. Naturally, it was not suitable to fly in the Shattered Sea Area. Lin Feng put away the ancient starship and the group entered the Shattered Sea Area. The four experts had a good understanding of the Shattered Sea Area. Therefore, there was no delay on the way. They went straight to the place where sacred ancestor Samsara had fallen. 10 days later, Lin Feng and the rest finally arrived at the place where sacred ancestor Samsara had fallen. This area was located on an island deep in the Shattered Sea Area. Around the island, there were powerful restrictions. The four experts did not manage to land on the island. Because they could not pass through the restrictions. The four experts were golden immortals. Yet, they could not pass through the restrictions. One could see how powerful the restrictions were. Since you can't land on the island, how do you know that this is where sacred ancestor Samsara died? Lin Feng asked, puzzled. Immortal Qianhe said. It's because we obtained a keepsake. After we arrived here, the keepsake started to fluctuate. Therefore, we guessed that sacred ancestor Samsara had fallen on this island. Keepsake? What keepsake? Lin Feng asked curiously. The keepsake was with Taoist Qing Shan. Taoist Qing Shan heard Lin Feng ask about the keepsake. Taoist Qing Shan took out the keepsake. Lin Feng realized that the keepsake Immortal Qianhe had mentioned was actually a jade pendant. It was a very special jade pendant. The color of the pendant seemed to be marble. From the outside, it looked like a low-quality jade pendant. However, this was not a low-quality jade pendant. It was called the reincarnation jade. It was an extremely rare type of jade. Taoist Qingshan said. This reincarnation jade was worn by sacred ancestor Samsara for a period of time. Therefore, it can sense his aura. Lin Feng nodded. He took the reincarnation jade from Taoist Qingshan. Then, Lin Feng realized, the reincarnation jade. There were indeed waves of fluctuations coming from it. The thing that caused the reincarnation jade to vibrate. It seemed to be on the island. Lin Feng could not help but raise his eyebrows slightly. If that was the case, it was very likely that the sacred ancestor of Samsara had fallen in the depths of the island. Lin Feng returned the reincarnation jade to Taoist Qingshan and said, Since that's the case, let's go in and take a look. Everyone nodded. Lin Feng said, The restrictions here are very powerful. Everyone stay by my side. Don't act on your own. Okay. Everyone hurriedly replied. Lin Feng was an authority in array formations. So, they did not dare to disobey Lin Feng. Lin Feng took the lead and entered the area densely covered with restrictions. He led the way. The rest of the people followed closely behind. Everyone flew in the direction of the island. At this moment, the densely packed restrictions swept towards Lin Feng and the others. It was as if those restrictions were sentient. They actually knew how to encircle Lin Feng and the others. Fortunately, Lin Feng's methods were extraordinary, and he led everyone through the array formation. Along the way, there was no danger. 2 hours later, they saw the island. The island was covered with a dense ancient forest. It was very primitive. It was unknown how many years it had been since anyone had set foot on the island. Lin Feng and the others could not help but speed up. However, at this moment, Lin Feng's blood began to flow rapidly. It was as if some terrifying danger was rapidly approaching their group. This caused Lin Feng's expression to change slightly. Chapter 52-63. Lin Feng reminded them with a solemn expression. Everyone, be careful. An unknown danger is approaching us. It was indeed as Lin Feng had said. An unknown danger was approaching them. Because, after Lin Feng's divine sense searched for a while, he was unable to find anything. What kind of danger was it? It was approaching them. However, the ability of sudden inspiration would not deceive Lin Feng. There must be a terrifying danger approaching quickly. This was an extremely terrifying matter. The unknown was the most terrifying. This sentence. It was applicable at all times. After hearing Lin Feng's reminder, everyone's hearts could not help but tremble slightly. The sea maiden hurriedly took out her orb. Rays of divine light descended from the orb, enveloping Lin Feng and the others within. The power of the water element lingered around the orb. The orb constructed a powerful defensive system. Let's go, Lin Feng said. He wanted to speed up and rush to the island. The sea was filled with the unknown. Lin Feng would naturally be more worried if they stayed above the sea. However, just as Lin Feng and the others were about to move, they were attacked. In the sea, a dense group of black creatures actually rushed out from the black hole. These black creatures were the size of a palm. It was unknown what they were. They looked like fish, but they were covered in poisonous spikes. Their attack power was extremely strong. Their mouths were like short and sharp swords. Their destructive power was extremely strong. These creatures lingered in the black fog and attacked the defensive light barrier protecting Lin Feng and the others. Bang! 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 Accompanied by the sounds of violent collisions, the creatures' mouths were like sharp swords as they ruthlessly stabbed the light barrier. The light barrier seemed to be about to be destroyed at any moment. Such a situation was extremely dangerous. Not good, it's a school of sea demon swordfish. This is troublesome. Taoist Qing Shan's expression became extremely ugly. What? Is there something special about this school of sea demon swordfish? Lin Feng asked. Taoist Qing Shan said in a low voice. The most terrifying thing about the ocean demon swordfish is that their bodies emit a foul stench. That stench is extremely poisonous, and that poison can seep into any living being's body. That poison is very strange. It won't harm cultivators at all, but it can seal cultivators' dharma powers. Hearing this, everyone's expression suddenly changed. Wasn't this too terrifying? There was actually such a strange creature. It was truly horrifying. This was especially true for cultivators if their magic power was sealed. It was as if a tiger had its teeth pulled out and its limbs chopped off. Was there any other threat? Especially in the sea world. He had lost his magic power. It was definitely a tragic thing. F***CK, how are we going to deal with these demonic sea swordfish? If we can't deal with them, it won't be long before they destroy the defensive barrier. When that happens, won't we be doomed? The cursed doll said with an ugly expression. The situation was indeed very dangerous. Because of the defensive barrier's protection, the poison hadn't seeped into Lin Feng and the others' bodies. What if they lost the barrier's protection? When the time came, they might really die from the attacks of the school of fish. Dispersing the school of demonic sea swordfish was something they had to do. They couldn't delay any longer. Daoist Qinshan said, "Use soul attacks to deal with these demonic sea swordfish. Their souls are relatively weak, so soul attacks should be more effective against them." "Then what are we waiting for? Let's do it!" The cursed doll shouted, excitedly wanting to use soul attacks to deal with the school of demonic sea swordfish. However, soon, the cursed doll had an expression of wanting to cry. Because the school of demonic sea swordfish. There were simply too many of them. How many people did they have? There were only 8 of them. How could they deal with the school of demonic sea swordfish? Lin Feng said, "I have a treasure here that should be able to deal with the school of demonic sea swordfish." Hearing this, everyone's eyes suddenly lit up. Everyone's gaze. They all looked at Lin Feng at the same time. They wondered what kind of treasure Lin Feng would use. Lin Feng's hand flashed. A supreme treasure flew out of the void. It was the treasure. It was a skull bracelet. This treasure was one of the treasures that Lin Feng had obtained from the evil ancestor pagoda, the stone pagoda that Xie Zi had obtained. It was formed by a total of 18 skulls strung together by an unknown creature. Once activated, the 18 skulls would emit an extremely strange and ear-piercing sound. That sound. It was extremely harmful to one's soul. Against a terrifying race like the demonic sea swordfish, ordinary soul attack type treasures were completely useless. Only some top-grade soul attack type treasures could be effective. For example, the skull bracelet that Lin Feng had obtained. Although he didn't know what grade it was definitely a top-grade treasure. "What kind of treasure is this?" Immortal Qian he asked curiously. Lin Feng said, "This treasure is called the skull bracelet, and it is a powerful soul attack type treasure." As his voice faded, Lin Feng's magic power continuously flowed into the skull bracelet. Then, the 18 skulls on the skull bracelet quickly grew larger. Then, the 18 skulls. They emitted a sharp and ear-piercing sound. The sound waves reverberated in all directions. When the sound of the 18 skulls was heard, the school of demonic sea swordfish immediately emitted painful cries. The school of demonic sea swordfish became chaotic. A large number of demonic sea swordfish. They directly fell into the sea. Those demonic sea swordfish were directly shaken to death. The rest of the demonic sea swordfish didn't dare to continue attacking the defensive light barrier. They all quickly fled into the depths of the sea. Collect the corpses of these demonic sea swordfish. You can extract the poison from their bodies. The poison that can seal a cultivator's magic power is definitely a priceless treasure, and it can be very useful in many situations. Especially if you smear the poison on your weapon. Once the opponent is injured, the poison will seep into their body, and their magic power will be sealed. At that time, they won't be able to fight back. Elder Kuhai said. After hearing Elder Kuhai's words, the eyes of Lin Feng and the others couldn't help but brighten. The poison of the demonic sea swordfish was so terrifying that it could indeed be used as a trump card. Lin Feng and the others hurriedly collected the corpses of the demonic sea swordfish. Lin Feng collected about 10,000 demonic sea swordfish corpses. The others also collected about the same amount. After collecting the demonic sea swordfish corpses, Lin Feng and the others quickly flew in the direction of the island. Under Lin Feng's lead, everyone avoided the powerful restrictions and successfully landed on the mysterious island covered by the primeval forest. End of chapter. Chapter 52-64. The island was very quiet. There were no roars of beasts. There wasn't even the sound of insects or birds. Such a quiet environment made Lin Feng and the others very surprised. Lin Feng couldn't help but raise his eyebrows slightly. He said, "This place is too quiet. The situation doesn't seem right." Everyone should be careful. Hearing this, everyone couldn't help but nod. Everyone carefully walked deeper into the island. There were many fallen leaves on the ground. When walking on the ground, there would be rustling sounds. Lin Feng and the others were using their godly awareness to scan the surroundings. They didn't want to be attacked by any terrifying things that might be lying in ambush. The more they were in a place like this, the more they had to be on guard. However, Lin Feng and the others didn't encounter any danger along the way. They didn't even see a single insect. Roar! When they passed by a mountain range, suddenly, a roar came from the forest. Then, a huge dragon rushed out from the forest. That huge dragon. It was definitely incomparably ferocious. Its body emitted a soul-stirring aura. It directly pounced towards Lin Feng and the others. Previously, Lin Feng and the others didn't notice anything. The sudden appearance of the huge dragon gave Lin Feng and the others a big fright. However, they quickly recovered and began to circulate their mana, intending to suppress this huge dragon together. However, what surprised Lin Feng and the others was that, when the huge dragon rushed halfway, it disappeared into thin air. It's not a real creature. Lin Feng's face revealed a shocked expression. That huge dragon was actually not a real creature. But just now, it was clearly so lifelike. It didn't seem to be any different from a real creature. However, in reality, it was just an illusion. Lin Feng and the others actually didn't notice anything wrong with that huge dragon. This kind of situation. Usually, it was very rare. A huge dragon illusion actually appeared here. I think this place is not simple. Let's look around and see if we can find anything, Lin Feng said. The others nodded. Everyone began to search the area. Lin Feng and the others searched the entire mountain range on the island. In the end, they discovered a huge dragon valley in the depths of the mountain range. He saw, within the dragon valley, densely packed dragon skeletons resided there. Lin Feng counted. There were about 150 to 60 dragon skeletons in total. This made Lin Feng extremely shocked. The combined strength of so many dragons was absolutely horrifying. But to think that all of them would be dead. What exactly happened back then? Lin Feng felt that the death of these dragons should not be a natural disaster. It was a man-made disaster. However, these dragons were so powerful. What kind of existence could kill all of them? It was not an easy task to find out what had happened back then. This point. Lin Feng was very clear about this. Therefore, Lin Feng didn't think too much about it. Lin Feng and the others entered the valley, wanting to see if there was anything good left behind. After a careful search, they couldn't find anything. The cursed doll said, "These dragons might not have been dead for a long time." Lin Feng asked, "How do you know that they haven't been dead for a long time?" Everyone looked at the cursed doll. This was because they were also very curious about this. In fact, before the cursed doll said this, everyone, including Lin Feng, thought that these dragons had been dead for a long time. The reason why they thought so was because these dragon skeletons had completely lost their luster and had no trace of energy. There were many skeletons. Some had even decayed. With a light touch, the dragon bones would break. The dragon bones were extremely strong and could be preserved for a very long time. It was said that many dragon bones could be preserved for an era. Of course, these dragon bones were relatively rare. But even if these dragon bones couldn't be preserved for such a long time, they could still be preserved for a very long time. But the reality was that these dragon bones had completely decayed. This meant that they had been dead for a very long time. These dragon bones were the ones that had decayed. However, the cursed doll said that these dragons might not have been dead for a long time, and they wondered what it had discovered. The cursed doll said, "Look at the dragon runes on these dragon bones." Lin Feng and the others looked over and saw some dragon runes. These were some runes that had been passed down by the dragon race. They were imprinted on the bones, and they were very extraordinary. If the dragon bones have decayed because of the corrosion of time, it means that the dragon bones have been corroded for a very long time. The dragon runes will also decay with time, but the runes on these dragon bones haven't decayed and are still so clear. This is enough to explain a lot of things, the cursed doll said. The cursed doll said. It had to be said that the cursed doll knew a lot. His words immediately caused Lin Feng and the others to fall into deep thought. Lin Feng said, "Are you saying that these dragon bones haven't decayed because of the corrosion of time?" The cursed doll nodded. "Yes. But these dragon bones have indeed decayed," Lin Feng said. "They have indeed decayed, but they might have decayed for some other reason. As far as I know, the ancient runes passed down by the dragon race can only be corroded by the power of time. No other power can corrode these runes, but dragon bones are different. For example, if the energy in the dragon bones is completely devoured, without the support of energy, the dragon bones are actually just ordinary bones. Therefore, the dragon bones can easily decay," the cursed doll said. The cursed doll said. Old man Kuhai said, "Fellow Taoist, are you saying that an unknown existence killed these dragon clan beings and then devoured their energy? Even the energy contained within the dragon bones has been devoured?" "Yes, that's very likely the reason." The cursed doll nodded. Then, the cursed doll said, "That's why I said that these dragons probably haven't been dead for a very long time. If that's the case, doesn't that mean that there's some unknown and terrifying existence hibernating here?" Lin Feng couldn't help but feel a chill run down his spine. If it was really as the cursed doll said, then this place was far too dangerous. The others' expressions turned unsightly as well. Lin Feng said, "That existence might have already left. Otherwise, why hasn't it appeared after we've been here for so long?" Everyone smiled bitterly. This was the only way they could comfort themselves. They could only hope that the existence had really left. Lin Feng and the others did not continue to stay in the Dragon Valley. They had a feeling that this place was extremely ominous. Therefore, the group quickly left the Dragon Valley. End of chapter. Chapter 52-65. After leaving the Dragon Valley, Lin Feng and the others continued to head deeper into the valley. They searched many places, trying to find the place where the sacred ancestor Samsara had fallen. But there had been no clues. Lin Feng and the others were already mentally prepared for this situation. After all, that was the place where the sacred ancestor Samsara had fallen, so it was naturally not that easy to find. Lin Feng and the others did not give up. They were still searching everywhere for the place where the sacred ancestor Samsara had fallen. Lin Feng tried to use the unscrupulous Taoist's dragon searching art to find that place. However, the dragon searching art did not find anything. Lin Feng felt that the dragon rabbit might be able to help. Thus, he summoned the dragon rabbit. The dragon rabbit did not know how to search for caves. But the dragon rabbit knew how to search for treasures. Lin Feng felt that the sacred ancestor Samsara should have left behind a lot of treasures after his death. If the dragon rabbit could sense the existence of those treasures, perhaps it could find the place where the sacred ancestor Samsara had fallen. The dragon rabbit brought Lin Feng and the others to more than a dozen places. Lin Feng and the others had indeed dug out some treasures. But they also encountered danger. For example, in one place, they dug out a broken sword. But when the broken sword was dug out, terrifying sword chi vibrated out. It charged towards Lin Feng and the others. The power of those sword chi was simply too powerful. Lin Feng and the others almost suffered a calamity. But fortunately, they were lucky enough to avoid that calamity. Now that he thought about what had happened before, he still felt his heart palpitate. Although he had not found the place where the sacred ancestor Samsara had fallen, Lin Feng felt that the current method should be a good choice. If they continued to search slowly, they should really be able to find the place where the sacred ancestor Samsara had fallen. 10 days later, Lin Feng and the others found a cave in a dilapidated mountain range. The mountain range was broken. The cave was in a narrow mountain stream. More than half of the cave entrance had already collapsed. A few people were wandering outside. The dragon rabbit squeaked and squeaked. "What is it saying?" Fairy Qian he asked curiously. Lin Feng replied, It's said that there's something very precious inside. Let's go in and see. The cursed doll said impatiently. Everyone entered the cave. The tunnel was very deep, and the tunnel had already collapsed. Some places were even blocked by gravel. Lin Feng and the others had no choice but to clear the rubble. The cursed doll said gloomily. F***CK, what a scam! If we had known that it would be so blocked, we wouldn't have come in. I wonder if it would suddenly collapse and crush us. Lin Feng replied. It's fine. If it really does collapse, there'll be someone tall to hold it up. You're short, so you definitely won't be crushed to death. The cursed doll looked at Lin Feng as if he was an idiot. If it really collapsed, no matter how tall or short they were, they would be crushed underneath. Of course. With their strength, they wouldn't die in there, but they would definitely be in a sorry state. Lin Feng and the others continued to clear the rubble. After clearing away all the rubble, they continued to walk forward. What surprised Lin Feng and the others was that they actually walked out of the tunnel. A huge platform appeared in front of them. Outside the platform was a cliff. In the middle of the cliff, white fog rolled, making it impossible to see what was on the other side. The dragon rabbit squeaked again. Lin Feng said. The dragon rabbit said that the treasure is on the other side. At this time, Daoist Qing Shan said excitedly. The reincarnation jade is reacting. Everyone looked over and found that the reincarnation jade was actually trembling. Everyone's faces couldn't help but reveal a look of joy. The other side must be the place where the sacred ancestor of Samsara had fallen. After working hard for so long, they had finally found the place where the sacred ancestor of Samsara had fallen. Anyone would be extremely excited. Let's fly over and take a look. The cursed doll said impatiently. Lin Feng hurriedly pulled the cursed doll back and said, Don't be rash, I feel that this cliff is not simple. It's very likely that it's a cliff that forbids flying. The cursed doll was shocked. Fortunately, he didn't fly out. Or else he would have definitely fallen. As for what was below the cliff, the cursed doll didn't know. Maybe, what if there was enough danger waiting for them? Of course, this was very likely. Let's see if it's a cliff that forbids flying, the cursed doll said. He blew a breath of air. Suddenly, a cursed doll appeared. The cursed doll was formed from the power of the curse. It could fly after mastering the sacred art. The cursed doll quickly flew out. It wanted to cross the area of the cliff. However, the cursed doll failed. Because of that area. It was really a cliff that forbade flying. The cursed doll directly fell down. The cursed doll said with a gloomy expression, Then what do we do now? We can't just jump over it, right? Lin Feng said speechlessly. Do you think it's jumping into a sandpit? Jump over it? Why don't you say swim over it? The cursed doll said. Then how do you think we should go over it? Lin Feng said. Let's wait and see, there might be some changes. As soon as Lin Feng finished talking, an unforeseen event really happened. On the other side of the cliff. It actually flew over a stone bridge. The stone bridge was very simple. It emitted an ancient and immortal aura. After seeing the stone bridge, Lin Feng and the others were happy. There really was a change. But then they couldn't help but be puzzled. Could it be that the stone bridge could sense their arrival and take them over? Could it be that the stone bridge had its own soul? If not, why would it take the initiative to fly over? But soon, Lin Feng and the others suppressed the doubts in their hearts. Everything needed to be investigated personally to know whether it was true or not. They could only rely on guesses. Could they guess it? Let's go over and take a look, Lin Feng said. Everyone nodded. The stone bridge appeared quite suddenly, so everyone be careful, Lin Feng reminded. Everyone nodded again. Then, everyone stepped onto the stone bridge together. After stepping onto the stone bridge, they didn't directly walk to the other side. Instead, they first observed the runes imprinted on the stone bridge. Those runes looked very ancient. Lin Feng didn't recognize those runes. The cursed doll said, It seems to be a long-lost god clan rune. Could it be left behind by the sacred ancestor Samsara before he died? Lin Feng couldn't help but say. He felt that perhaps this stone bridge was built by the sacred ancestor Samsara. That's possible, the cursed doll said. Then, everyone walked to the other side. Around them, white fog rolled. Lin Feng and the others were very careful along the way. However, Lin Feng didn't know when it happened, but he realized that the cursed doll and the others had all disappeared. On the stone bridge. He was the only one left. Please remember the domain name of this book, mobile version of reading website. Chapter 5266. Lin Feng frowned. Before this, he had not noticed any abnormal changes. Lin Feng even felt that the cursed doll, little son, and the others were still by his side a moment ago. How could they have disappeared in the blink of an eye? This was too strange, wasn't it? Could it be? Could it be that the stone bridge was playing tricks? Or this was a test? A test of the stone bridge? Of course, it could also be a test left behind by Saint Ancestor Samsara. Do I need to cross the stone bridge? Lin Feng could not help but mutter to himself. It seemed that there was only one choice now. Moreover, there was often no turning back in such a place. Once he tried to turn back, he might very well lose himself. Lin Feng took a deep breath and then walked deeper into the stone bridge. The white fog in the surroundings was still tumbling. Only the sound of Lin Feng's footsteps echoed on the stone bridge. Lin Feng originally thought that there would be some danger, but he was surprised to find that there was no danger at all. What's going on? Lin Feng felt that something was not right. However, he could not pinpoint exactly what was wrong. Lin Feng continued to walk deeper into the stone bridge. Not long after, Lin Feng finally realized what was wrong. He seemed to be walking across the stone bridge repeatedly. He discovered this because after Lin Feng became suspicious, he left a mark on the stone bridge. After walking for a while, he saw the mark again. Therefore, Lin Feng was sure that he had been walking back and forth on the stone bridge. If he continued walking like this, even if he walked for the rest of his life, it was impossible to walk out of the stone bridge. This stone bridge is so strange. Lin Feng could not help but take a deep breath. He tried to calm himself down. Generally, there could be many reasons for such a situation. However, in Lin Feng's opinion, there were two most likely reasons. First, the stone bridge created a powerful illusion. Cultivators who entered the stone bridge would unknowingly enter the illusion created by the stone bridge. It was easy to lose oneself in these illusions. Second, there was an extremely powerful magnetic field here. The magnetic field mainly affected the cultivator's soul, causing the cultivator's soul to hallucinate. To be more specific, it could affect a cultivator's brainwaves. This caused cultivators to misjudge the situation in the outside world. When a wrong judgment was made, some strange things would happen. Lin Feng was pondering. Now that he had fallen into such a strange situation, was it an illusion created by the stone bridge? Or did the powerful magnetic field here affect him? Lin Feng opened his eye of origin. When the eye of origin opened, he looked around. Lin Feng suddenly realized. All around, something seemed to have changed. However, it was hard for Lin Feng to pinpoint exactly where this change came from. Lin Feng continued to walk on the stone bridge. This time, Lin Feng realized that he wasn't the same as before, walking on the stone bridge endlessly. I kept retracing my steps on the stone bridge earlier. Did the illusion created by the stone bridge affect me? Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. He felt that this was more likely. Because the eye of origin could only see through some illusions. Then, he could see the essence of the matter. For example, the eye of origin could see through some illusions. However, the eye of origin had no resistance to some effects of the magnetic field. The eye of origin could only resolve the illusions formed by external forces. The magnetic field itself couldn't directly create illusions. The effect of the magnetic field was to affect the cultivator's soul. The illusion was created after the cultivator's soul, brainwaves, was affected by the magnetic field. Therefore, There was a fundamental difference. Since Lin Feng didn't walk on the stone bridge again, it meant that the Eye of Origin had broken the illusion here. It also meant that this place wasn't affected by the magnetic field. This was still better, because the magnetic field was too terrifying. If there was a powerful magnetic field here, he wanted to walk out. It was probably as difficult as ascending to the heavens. Lin Feng increased his speed. He wanted to leave the stone bridge as soon as possible. This stone bridge was too strange. If he continued to stay on the stone bridge, Lin Feng was not at ease. If he could walk out of the stone bridge, the situation would change. Right now, Lin Feng didn't know how the cursed doll and the others were doing. On the stone bridge, he couldn't help the cursed doll and the others. If he walked out of the stone bridge, he might be able to help the cursed doll and the others. Duh. At this moment, footsteps came from the other side. After hearing the footsteps, Lin Feng couldn't help but frown slightly. Something seemed to be approaching. He stopped and took out the epic war spear. Lin Feng held the epic war spear and looked ahead. It didn't take long for that existence to arrive. It was a cultivator clad in golden armor. His entire body was covered in golden armor. When he saw this cultivator wearing golden armor, Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter. Why did this golden armor look so much like his dominator's armor? Who are you? Lin Feng asked in a deep voice. I'm your inner demon, the existence said. What? My inner demon? Lin Feng couldn't help but frown. At this moment, the armor on the cultivator's head retracted into his body, revealing his head. Lin Feng was shocked. That existence. It looked exactly like him. It was a very strange thing. A cultivator who looked like him appeared on the stone bridge and said that he was his inner demon. Could an inner demon transform into a human and appear in front of the main body? Anyone who encountered such a thing would find it unbelievable. Lin Feng also had the same feeling. Everything was so strange. But it was so real. I've already cut off the inner demon. How can there be an inner demon? Lin Feng's expression was gloomy. The inner demon said, No one can truly cut off the inner demon completely. Although you can't usually sense the inner demon, it doesn't mean that you've completely cut off the inner demon. In fact, even saints have inner demons in their hearts. It's just that when one's cultivation is strong enough, the inner demon will be suppressed so much that it can't come out to cause trouble. Lin Feng said in a deep voice. Even if I still have inner demons in my heart, I believe that with my strength, they can't come out to cause trouble. How can you come out? The inner demon smiled and said, Do you know what this stone bridge is called? What's it called? Lin Feng asked, puzzled. The inner demon said, It's called the Bridge of Desire. Please remember the domain name of this book, Bridge of Desire. Mobile version website. Chapter 5267. However, you are destined to be nothing more than an inner demon. Since you are an inner demon, you are still unable to become a true life form. Thus, I speculate that the moment I leave the Bridge of Desire will be the moment you dissipate. Am I right? Lin Feng asked the inner demon. The inner demon said, You're not entirely correct. When you leave the Bridge of Desire, I won't be able to continue living in the outside world, but that doesn't mean I'll disappear. I won't disappear. I'll still exist in your body. When the time is right, I'll appear again. The inner demon paused for a moment, then continued. But if I kill you, I'll be able to escape your control. I'll be able to refine a body of flesh and blood. I'll be able to become an independent entity. Lin Feng raised his eyebrows slightly at the inner demon's words. In fact, Lin Feng had long since guessed the inner demon's plan. Let's see who's going to kill who. Once I kill you, I'll be able to sever my inner demon. Even if it's only temporary, it'll take some time for a new inner demon to be born, right? Lin Feng sneered. The ruler's armor appeared, protecting him completely. He wielded the epic war spear and charged at the inner demon. The inner demon sneered. You know I know. What you have, I have too. How can you defeat me? As soon as he finished speaking, the inner demon's head was covered by the ruler's armor. A war spear appeared in the inner demon's hand. It was none other than the epic war spear. It was just as the inner demon had said. He had everything Lin Feng had. The battle spears of both sides collided with each other. Suddenly, a sonorous sound of collision was heard. The powerful force shook the void. Cracks began to appear in the void. Their attacks were basically the same. Whatever move Lin Feng used, the inner demon would use the same move. Lin Feng felt like cursing and swearing in the streets. Do you think you can defeat me in terms of stamina? You consume your magic power very quickly, but I'm different. I'm an inner demon. I have a demon in my heart. Boundless magic power. That's why my magic power will never run out. The inner demon looked at Lin Feng triumphantly. This bastard. No wonder he was so confident. It turned out that he actually had such a terrifying method. Activating the epical war spear and the Dominator's armor consumed a lot of magic power. Therefore, this wasn't a battle form that could be maintained for long. Lin Feng was naturally very clear about this. However, the other party obviously didn't care about the problem of mana consumption. For Lin Feng, this was an extremely bad thing. How should we deal with this guy now? Lin Feng couldn't help but ponder. I'm your inner demon, I can feel what you're feeling. I know you're scared. The inner demon said eerily. Was Lin Feng afraid? That was true. The main reason was that the inner demon was too difficult to deal with. For a moment, Lin Feng couldn't think of a way to deal with it. However, Lin Feng wouldn't tell the inner demon what he was thinking. Lin Feng sneered. I'm scared of your sister. Lin Feng released his 5-layered domineering magnetic field and enveloped the inner demon. Domineering magnetic field? It's indeed an awesome method, but I also have domineering magnetic fields, so your domineering magnetic field can't hurt me. The inner demon said proudly. He also released his 5-layered domineering magnetic field. Then, the two domineering magnetic fields collided fiercely in the void. Bang! Along with the violent sound of the collision, there was a loud bang. When the domineering magnetic fields collided, the powerful recoil caused Lin Feng and the inner demon to retreat. Damn it! Lin Feng couldn't help but curse. Dealing with the inner demon was really a tricky matter. Lin Feng didn't know what to do with the demon's methods. That grand Tao of fate! Lin Feng murmured. Lin Feng began to chant the incantation for the great art of destiny. He planned to use the great art of destiny to deal with the inner demon. That grand Tao of fate! Lin Feng murmured. However, the inner demon also began to chant the incantation. The incantation he was chanting was actually the great art of destiny. This guy really did know all the divine abilities that Lin Feng knew. Lin Feng summoned a river of destiny. The inner demon also summoned a river of destiny. Then, the two rivers of destiny collided fiercely. Once again, they were evenly matched. Lin Feng couldn't do anything to the inner demon. However, Lin Feng knew that this situation was not good for him. Every time he used a powerful technique, his magic power would be greatly consumed. On the other hand, the inner demon. He was still in peak condition. I said that I know everything that you know, so today, you will die without a doubt. Why continue to struggle? If you give up, I can give you a quick death. The inner demon looked at Lin Feng arrogantly. Damn it! A mere inner demon dares to show off in front of me? Lin Feng couldn't help but curse. I show off because I have the strength to do so. You can show off too, but do you have the strength to do so? The inner demon said. The inner demon's words made sense. I gave you a chance to die quickly, but you didn't cherish it. Since that's the case, I can only deal with you personally. The inner demon sneered. Then, he leaped out and attacked Lin Feng. Swish! 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 The inner demon was multitasking, and all kinds of powerful treasures appeared. For example, the 5 stone swords, the Bell of Hell, and other supreme treasures. He attacked with all kinds of supreme treasures. Lin Feng was also multitasking. Many treasures collided with the inner demon's treasures. the inner demon said sinisterly. Multitasking consumes a lot of magic power. Do you feel that your magic power is severely depleted? How long can you maintain this peak condition? Wait until your magic power is almost depleted, then I'll deal with you. The inner demon's words made Lin Feng's expression extremely gloomy. The inner demon's methods were overt. However, Lin Feng had no choice but to deal with the inner demon's powerful treasures. Multitasking consumed a lot of his body. Lin Feng couldn't maintain this state for too long. Lin Feng's expression became more and more unsightly. He wanted to refute. But what was the use of refuting the inner demon? The key was to find a way to deal with the inner demon. Lin Feng tried to communicate with Bibi and the others, but Lin Feng realized that their connection with Bibi and the others had been cut off. The battle with the inner demon. He could only rely on himself. He couldn't rely on others. Please remember the domain name of this book, mobile version of reading website. Chapter 5268. How could he fight against this guy? How could he fight against this guy? How could he fight against this guy? Lin Feng's heart was filled with this sentence. However, he searched hard. There was no other way. The mental demon was powerful and almost invulnerable. The mental demon knew all the supernatural powers that he knew. Furthermore, the mental demon could even transform into his Dharma treasure. This was because of the Bridge of Desire. Those Dharma treasures were no different from real ones. How could he fight against the mental demon? Lin Feng could not think of a way to fight against the mental demon, right? Lin Feng suddenly thought of something. If there was any difference between him and the mental demon, the only difference was, it should be. He had a body of flesh and blood. And the mental demon, it was formed by the demonic thoughts in his heart. The body of flesh and blood had a huge advantage. That was, the body of flesh and blood had a powerful bloodline. Perhaps I can use the bloodline to deal with the mental demon. Lin Feng thought of a possibility. His eyes lit up at once. Right now, Lin Feng had 3 types of bloodlines. The first type. The immortal bloodline. The second type. The sovereign bloodline. The third type. The destiny bloodline. Lin Feng knew that he seemed to have a 4th type of bloodline. It was an even more powerful and terrifying bloodline. However, Lin Feng did not know what the 4th type of bloodline was. Until now, the 4th type of bloodline. It seemed to be a mystery. It was full of unknowns. But no matter what the 4th type of bloodline was, Lin Feng's first 3 types of bloodline, they were already powerful enough. After thinking for a while, Lin Feng decided to use the destiny bloodline to deal with the mental demon. The destiny bloodline increased the destiny technique. The power was absolutely terrifying. Lin Feng began to activate his destiny bloodline. As the destiny bloodline activated, the power of destiny suddenly surged out of Lin Feng's body. At the same time, Lin Feng silently chanted the incantation of the Great Destiny Technique. The Destiny Bloodline and the Great Destiny Technique combined to form a brand new power of destiny. This power of destiny. It condensed into a spear of destiny. Lin Feng's mind moved and the spear of destiny quickly pierced the mental demon. After feeling the terrifying power of the spear of destiny, the mental demon's expression suddenly changed. He tried to condense a spear of destiny. His spear of destiny quickly moved towards Lin Feng's spear of destiny. Clang! Accompanied by the violent sound of the collision. The spear of destiny condensed by Lin Feng's spear of destiny. The spear of destiny condensed by the Great Destiny Technique was completely condensed from the power of destiny. It was extremely different from the spear of destiny condensed by Lin Feng. It was natural that it couldn't block Lin Feng's spear of destiny. Lin Feng's spear of destiny continued to shoot towards the mental demon. However, the mental demon swung the epic war spear in his hand towards the spear of destiny. The epical war spear swept across the spear of fate and broke it in an instant. At this moment, Lin Feng had already charged over. Lin Feng condensed 10 spears of destiny. The 10 spears of destiny hovered around Lin Feng. The 10 spears of destiny followed Lin Feng and charged towards the mental demon. The mental demon's expression suddenly changed. He quickly retreated, trying to dodge Lin Feng's attack. "Aren't you very powerful? Why don't you dare to fight me head-on now?" Lin Feng looked at the mental demon mockingly. The mental demon's expression was extremely gloomy. He originally thought that he could kill Lin Feng, but he didn't expect this to happen. This made the mental demon extremely angry. However, the current situation was extremely disadvantageous for him. He wanted to find some way to suppress Lin Feng. However, the mental demon couldn't think of a way to suppress Lin Feng for now. The mental demon didn't have a bloodline. This was the mental demon's biggest disadvantage. So what if the mental demon's ability was exactly the same as Lin Feng's ability? So what if the mental demon could evolve a magic treasure that was exactly the same as Lin Feng's? He didn't have a bloodline, so he couldn't use the ability that the bloodline gave to Lin Feng. When Lin Feng used these abilities, he was destined to be suppressed by Lin Feng. At this moment, the mental demon wanted to dodge Lin Feng's attack. However, he couldn't dodge Lin Feng's attack at all. Lin Feng was like a shadow as he charged towards the mental demon. Lin Feng's epical war spear. He swept it towards the mental demon. The mental demon swept the epical war spear towards Lin Feng. At this moment, the spears of fate shot towards the mental demon. The mental demon said coldly, "I'm wearing the ruler's armor, so I'm not afraid of the spears of fate." The ruler's armor's defense was indeed powerful. The spears of fate might not be able to break through the mental demon's ruler's armor. Thus, it was understandable for the mental demon to be so confident. The mental demon continued to sneer. "So what if you can suppress me now? You're using up too much energy. Let's see how you'll die later," said Lin Feng, smiling coldly. He didn't pay attention to the demon. His epical war spear clashed with the mental demon's epical war spear. The 10 spears of fate shot towards him, and the mental demon's powerful energy continuously poured into the ruler's armor. The mental demon activated the ruler's armor's power. Countless runes on the surface of the ruler's armor were activated. The ruler's armor's defense was definitely at the peak. However, at this moment, the 10 spears of fate actually disintegrated into many runes. Those runes, they were the sealing runes that Lin Feng had condensed using the power of fate. So, Lin Feng had just condensed the 10 spears of fate to attack. It was a feint. He didn't really want to use the spears of fate to attack the mental demon. He wanted to seal the mental demon. The mental demon's expression changed greatly. It wanted to dodge. But it was too late. The dense runes were all branded on the mental demon's body. The mental demon struggled hard. But it couldn't break free. Lin Feng's sealing technique. It was extremely terrifying. Let me go quickly!" The mental demon roared angrily. His eyes had turned blood red. It wanted to eat Lin Feng's flesh raw. Lin Feng sneered. "Let you go? Don't you think that's stupid? I'll turn you into ashes right now. I'm an immortal existence." The mental demon roared. "You can't kill me! I'll definitely kill you after I escape." Lin Feng was too lazy to say anything more to the mental demon. He directly took out the heavenly flames. Purple earth core fire, black flame god incinerating fire, hellfire, and golden dragon flame. Black flame god incinerating fire, azure dragon true fire, snow spirit bone fire, and the other heavenly flames all flew out. The 7 heavenly flames surrounded the mental demon and burned fiercely. Please remember the domain name of this book. Mobile version of reading website. Chapter 5269. After refining the inner demon to death, Lin Feng immediately felt that his body had an unprecedented sense of ease. The mana in his body. It actually flowed at an unprecedented speed. This is... Lin Feng couldn't help but reveal a shocked expression, because he felt that his body seemed to be undergoing some changes. And this change. It was very likely that his cultivation would achieve a breakthrough. If that was the case, for Lin Feng, it was definitely a great thing. One had to know that it was extremely difficult for Lin Feng to break through his cultivation. Breaking through a level, it could greatly increase Lin Feng's combat strength. 15 minutes later, a rumbling sound came from Lin Feng's body. It was like a torrential river that was endless. Lin Feng's realm. A successful breakthrough. Previously, Lin Feng was at the 4th level of the Earth Immortal Realm. After breaking through a level, Lin Feng's realm stopped at the 5th level of the Earth Immortal Realm. I really broke through. It's no less than a fortuitous encounter. Lin Feng's face revealed a happy expression. Destroying his inner demon could actually increase his cultivation. Before this, Lin Feng didn't even dare to think about such a good thing. It was so difficult to get rid of the inner demon. It wasn't a waste of time to fight the inner demon. Lin Feng looked around. He was still on the Bridge of Desire. But the cursed doll and the others were still missing. Lin Feng didn't stay any longer. He quickly walked towards the other side. He would leave the Bridge of Desire first and observe for a while. At that time, he might be able to find traces of the cursed doll and the others. Of course. Perhaps the cursed doll and the others had already reached the other side? All of these were extremely possible. Lin Feng didn't encounter any danger for the rest of the journey. Just as he arrived at the other side, Little Sun shouted excitedly, "Big brother, you're finally here. I was so worried about you just now. I was so scared when I was alone here just now." After seeing Little Sun, Lin Feng was a little dumbfounded. Little Sun was the first person to cross the Bridge of Desire and reach the other side. Lin Feng smiled bitterly. He had roughly guessed the reason. Little Sun was only a few years old. In his heart, naturally, he didn't have any desires. The Bridge of Desires was a bridge that could infinitely magnify the desires in a cultivator's heart. When the desire was magnified, the inner demons would also become stronger. Little Sun didn't have any desires, so the Bridge of Desire naturally couldn't affect Little Sunday. The ones with true desires were the adults. Lin Feng rubbed Little Sun's head and said, "Don't be afraid. Big brother is here now." "Oh, right. Have you seen anyone else?" Lil Sun shook her head and said, "I didn't see them. I don't know what happened on the stone bridge, but everyone suddenly disappeared. I thought they were playing hide-and-seek with me, so I quickly ran over. Sure enough, they were still children. Who would have the leisure to play hide-and-seek at this time?" Lin Feng looked at the Bridge of Desire. Lin Feng didn't know what was so strange about the Bridge of Desire that it could actually separate them. However, Lin Feng had already found out from the inner demons that the Bridge of Desire was actually a powerful magic treasure. Lin Feng knew that even if he stepped onto the Bridge of Desire, he might not be able to find the cursed doll and the others. If that was the case, there was no need to step onto the Bridge of Desire. If he could refine the Bridge of Desire, at that time, he would be able to control the Bridge of Desire. If he controlled the Bridge of Desire, naturally, he would be able to save the cursed doll and the others. Thinking of this, Lin Feng couldn't help but take a deep breath. He shot out mana runes one after another. Those mana runes all surged towards the Bridge of Desire. Those mana runes merged into the Bridge of Desire. However, Lin Feng couldn't successfully refine the Bridge of Desire. And the Bridge of Desire underwent a strange change. The Bridge of Desire condensed a powerful desire power. The desire power. It turned into a peerlessly enchanting beauty. That beauty danced her delicate body. Her dance was incomparably enchanting and charming. That woman seemed to be able to charm the world. As she danced, she flew towards Lin Feng. "My good brother, let me serve you well." A seductive voice entered Lin Feng's mind. The Bridge of Desire's best method was to arouse the desire of others. Then, it would kill the other party. There were many methods to arouse desire. For example, some powerful supernatural powers, magic treasures, and of course, women. Soon, that woman came to Lin Feng's side. That woman wrapped around Lin Feng's body. But Lin Feng struck out with his palm. It directly hit that woman's body. There was a loud bang. That woman's body exploded. That woman turned into the desire power. She wasn't a real person to begin with. She was just condensed from the desire power. But she was good at the art of charm. However, this kind of charm had no effect on Lin Feng at all. Lin Feng continued to use mana runes to refine the bridge of desire. More and more mana runes were being condensed by Lin Feng. Those densely packed magic power runes. All of them poured into the bridge of desire. Powerful desire power poured out from the bridge of desire. The desire power wanted to force out the mana runes that Lin Feng had condensed from the bridge of desire. Indeed, a portion of the mana runes were forced out. But only a portion of them were forced out. Most of them. They were still inside the bridge of desire. And Lin Feng was still condensing more mana runes. More and more mana runes poured into the bridge of desire. As a large amount of mana runes poured into the bridge of desire, Lin Feng immediately felt it. The bridge of desire. A weak connection was formed. The bridge of desire. Mysterious, ancient, and full of secrets. Lin Feng even felt that in the world inside the bridge of desire, there seemed to be an ancient existence sleeping. Could it be? Did the bridge of desire really have its own god? Thinking about it carefully, the bridge of desire itself was a magic treasure. Having its own god seemed to be a very normal thing. Since the bridge of desire was an extremely ancient magic treasure, then the god of the bridge of desire must also be an extremely ancient existence. Such a god was usually incomparably powerful. Now, the god of the bridge of desire hadn't awakened. It was the best time to refine the bridge of desire. If the god of the bridge of desire woke up, it wouldn't be so easy to refine the god of the bridge of desire. Because the god of the bridge of desire would definitely struggle. After some effort. 2 hours later. Please remember the domain name of this book, mobile version of reading website. Chapter 5270. After Lin Feng refined the precious bridge of desire, Lin Feng frowned. Lin Feng sensed that the bridge of desire was shaking violently, and a terrifying strength was emerging from it. Lin Feng was astonished when he saw that kind of energy. Lin Feng realized that it was as if the god of the bridge of desire had awakened. However, the god of the bridge of desire did not awaken in the end. The god of the bridge of desire. It fell silent again. Lin Feng could not help but mutter. The bridge of desire was refined, but the god of the bridge of desire did not awaken. What did this mean? Could it be that there was actually some problem with the god of the bridge of desire? Was that why it did not awaken? This was a very likely possibility. Lin Feng did not think too much about this matter. His attention. It was all on finding the cursed doll and the others. After Lin Feng's divine telekinesis sensed for a while, he discovered. The cursed doll and the others were standing on the bridge of desire. Their bodies were motionless. However, their expressions were very painful. It seems to be different from what I experienced before. What I experienced before was a mental demon. And the mental demon left my body. I turned into a demonic cultivator. What did the cursed doll and the others experience? Was it a mental demon? Or did they experience some other danger? Lin Feng could not help but mutter to himself. No matter what the cursed doll and the others experienced, Lin Feng planned to save them as soon as possible. If he let them continue to experience those things, who knew if there would be danger? Lin Feng's divine telekinesis moved. The cursed doll, Sea Lady, Taoist Qingshan, Fairy Qianhe, Lu Wuchen, Old Man Ku Hai, and the others were all summoned by Lin Feng. After they were summoned, one by one they collapsed to the ground. Then, they panted heavily. Until now, they had not even recovered from their shock and did not know what had happened. However, after seeing Lin Feng and Little Sunday, they finally regained their senses. Damn, I was scared to death. I remember that I was almost swallowed by the greed demon. Why did I appear outside the next moment? The cursed doll asked in confusion. Little Sun said, It was Big Brother who saved you from that stone bridge. Only then did everyone understand what was going on. F***CK. This broken bridge almost killed me. I'm going to smash this broken bridge. The cursed doll jumped up from the ground and cursed. It wanted to destroy the Bridge of Desire. Lin Feng replied, I've already refined the Bridge of Desire, so don't even think about destroying it. As soon as he said that, Lin Feng sent runes toward the Bridge of Desire. Immediately after, the Bridge of Desire let out a loud rumbling sound. Immediately after, the Bridge of Desire soared into the sky. It shrank rapidly. In the blink of an eye, it had already shrunk to the size of a palm, and Lin Feng put away the shrunken Bridge of Desire. Damn, you're not bad. You actually got the treasure. The cursed doll was a little depressed. Lin Feng said, It seems like you didn't want to destroy the Bridge of Desire at all. Instead, you wanted to take it. You were afraid that others would snatch it from you, so you said that you wanted to destroy it. Am I right? The cursed doll said gloomily. Don't even think about slandering me. I'm a pure person. After hearing the cursed doll's shameless words, Lin Feng couldn't help but pout. However, he didn't continue talking about this topic with the cursed doll. He looked at the others and asked, Are you guys all right? We're fine. Everyone replied. Everyone rested for a while, then continued walking. Before long, Lin Feng and the others saw a huge cave. At the top of the cave, there were 4 ancient words written in large letters. These words were written in divine script, so Lin Feng could recognize them. The meaning of these words was, Reincarnation Ancestral Land. Since there were the words, Reincarnation, it was certain. This was the place where Saint Ancestor Reincarnation had fallen. There were restrictions at the entrance of the cave. However, perhaps it was because of the passage of time. The strength of the restrictions at the entrance of the cave had decreased a lot. Lin Feng easily broke the restrictions at the entrance of the cave. Then, everyone walked in together. The group didn't move very quickly because they didn't know if there was any danger in the depths. Therefore, they were very careful along the way. About an hour later, Lin Feng and the others saw a huge mountain. It seemed that they had finally arrived. The cursed doll said, Isn't this cave too deep? It took us so long to walk. Taoist Qingshan said, Many cultivators like to build their cave abodes in deeper places because they are worried that enemies will break in while they are in seclusion. The longer the passage, the longer it will take the enemies to find their seclusion place, and the higher the chances of them finding the enemies. The cursed doll said, If you asked me, there's no need for that. What's there to be afraid of? At most, we'll just die. The cursed doll wasn't the kind of person who looked down on life and death. It was just that this guy was good at bragging. Lin Feng and the others did not continue to pay attention to the cursed doll. When they entered the belly of the mountain, they discovered that there were some stone tables, stone stools, and other things in the belly of the mountain. And in some places in the belly of the mountain, there seemed to be stone rooms. There were a total of 4 such stone rooms. However, the stone doors of the stone rooms were tightly shut. Moreover, the stone rooms were sealed by powerful restrictions. As for the interior of the mountain, there was nothing of special value. These restrictions are very powerful. Little Feng, we'll have to rely on you next, the cursed doll said. Lin Feng nodded. Then, he began to try to break the restrictions of the stone room in front of him. The restrictions here were different from the ones outside. Even though a long time had passed, the restrictions protecting the stone room were still very powerful. Even Lin Feng did not dare to underestimate these restrictions. Lin Feng patiently broke the restrictions. 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days. Day after day passed. After a full 5 days, Lin Feng finally succeeded in breaking the restrictions of the stone room. Ha ha ha, the restrictions have been broken. I wonder what good things are inside. The cursed doll immediately cried out in excitement. Then, this guy impatiently rushed over and pushed the stone door with all his might. Rumble. A violent friction sound was heard, and then the stone door was pushed open. Everyone entered the first stone room. The first stone room was filled with earth fire. The temperature was extremely high. This place seemed to be an alchemy room. But Lin Feng did not see a furnace. However, there were some shelves inside. On those shelves, there were many bottles and jars. The cursed doll opened a porcelain bottle and sniffed it. Then, it could not help but curse in a low voice. Damn it, the pills are broken. This is definitely a peerless treasure pill, but it was destroyed just like that. What a pity! Lin Feng and the others opened some porcelain bottles. They investigated for a while, and the pills in the porcelain bottles were also destroyed. It was indeed an incomparable pity. Lin Feng could not help but sigh. Time was enough to destroy everything. At this time, Little Sun took out a white jade box from the bottom of a shelf. Then, Little Sun opened the white jade box. Inside the white jade box, there was also a porcelain bottle. However, this porcelain bottle seemed to be of a higher grade. The craftsmanship was not something an ordinary porcelain bottle could compare to. Other than that, the restrictions on the porcelain bottle were also very powerful. Brother, here you go. Little Sun grabbed the porcelain bottle in his hand. Then, he handed the porcelain bottle to Lin Feng as if he was presenting a treasure. Lin Feng looked at the porcelain bottle with some joy. Please remember the domain name of this book. Mobile version of reading website. Chapter 5271. Lin Feng held the bottle in his hand. And then, he cracked the seal on the porcelain bottle. Then, he opened the bottle stopper. Instantly, a refreshing medicinal fragrance wafted out. Lin Feng poured out a pill. He discovered that the pill was purplish-brown in color. This was Lin Feng's first time seeing a pill like this. Thus, he didn't know what kind of pill it was. He also didn't know what it was used for. However, sacred ancestor Samsara was treating this pill with such caution. It seemed that this kind of medicinal pill should be an extremely extraordinary medicinal pill. Do any of you recognize this pill? Lin Feng asked. Nope. Everyone shook their heads. At this moment, great immortal sage Martin appeared. He said, So it's a pill like this. Hurry up and give me one. As he spoke, he tried to snatch the pill from Lin Feng's hand. Lin Feng reacted quickly, and thus, great immortal sage Martin didn't manage to snatch the pill away. He looked at great immortal sage Martin and said speechlessly, You're snatching something that isn't yours? Can't you at least have some principles? Damn, you still owe me something. I don't want the profound yellow origin stone anymore, but you have to give me one of these pills. Great immortal sage Martin said. Lin Feng was shocked. Great immortal sage Martin had actually used the profound yellow origin stone to exchange for a pill like this. This was truly inconceivable. Lin Feng asked. First, tell me what this pill is. Great immortal sage Martin said. This pill is called the Saint Devil Samsara pill. It's an extremely tyrannical pill. You just need to consume one of these pills. Then, your magic energy, divine ability, your lifespan, etc., can instantly recover from the lowest point to the highest point. Hiss. Upon hearing great immortal sage Martin's words, Lin Feng and the others couldn't help but gasp. If what great immortal sage Martin said was true, that would be too shocking. It could only be described as inconceivable. There was actually such a heaven-defying pill in this world. Such a pill would be of great use to anyone. It was the same for Lin Feng. As a result, Lin Feng and the others couldn't help but breathe heavily. Are you serious? Lin Feng asked in disbelief as he looked at Sage Martin Immortal. The others also looked at the Sage Martin. Everyone urgently wanted to know if Great Sage Martin was joking with them. Great Immortal Sacred Martin said, Of course, everything I said is true. Lin Feng couldn't help but get excited. Something like that. What a treasure. If one day Lin Feng were to use 33 times his combat power, he no longer had to worry about his lifespan running out. Because he swallowed a Saint Devil pill of Samsara. When the time comes, all of the lost lifespan could be replenished. Hee, I don't have enough pills, so wait for me to find the mysterious yellow mother jade. I'll use it to compensate you, Lin Feng said. Great immortal sacred Martin said, I know what you're thinking. To tell you the truth, you can only take one pill in your lifetime. So, even if you get a few more of these pills, it's useless. At most, you can sell them. At your level, you probably don't lack wealth, so you won't sell them. It's better to keep them on you. Lin Feng frowned slightly. He didn't doubt Sage Martin Immortal Sacred Martin's words. Such a heaven-defying pill. After eating the second pill, it might not have any effect. Lin Feng said, There are a total of 10 pills here, and there are 8 of us here. So, there are 2 pills left. After pausing for a few seconds, Lin Feng said, If you don't need the other 2 pills, I'd like to keep them for you. Of course, I'll give you something else as compensation. The cursed doll, Little Sun, and the Sea Lady were naturally on Lin Feng's side. They wouldn't object if Lin Feng wanted the other 2 pills. As for Lin Feng's compensation, they didn't want it either. The main problem was that no one knew what the 4 experts were thinking. The reason why Lin Feng wanted to keep the other 2 pills was because he had a use for them. One was for Sage Martin Immortal Sacred Martin. The other was for the Demon Lord. The cursed doll said, If you want them, just keep them. Given our relationship, you don't need any compensation. However, if you really feel bad, give me the Epical War Spear, and I'll reluctantly accept it. Hearing this, Lin Feng couldn't help but roll his eyes. The Sea Lady said, Later I'll reward him with a few punches. The cursed doll immediately said, You're speaking up for Little Feng. Is there something going on? When she heard the cursed doll's words, the Sea Lady suddenly had the urge to beat the cursed doll until half of its body was paralyzed. Taoist Qing Shan smiled. Since this pill can only be consumed once in a lifetime, we'll each take one. As for the remaining 2 pills, Brother Lin, you can deal with them yourself. We're all on the same side, so please don't say that you're compensating us. That's the same as treating us as outsiders, isn't it? Taoist Qing Shan's words represented the 4 experts. Taoist Qing Shan was very good at handling matters. And so, the relationship between the 4 experts and Lin Feng immediately became much closer. Lin Feng said, Since Brother Qing Shan has said so, I won't be courteous with everyone. Lin Feng distributed the pills to everyone, including Little Sunday. 1 for each person. What about me? What about me? Sage Martin Immortal anxiously asked. Lin Feng took out a pill and gave it to Sage Martin Immortal before saying, Now we're even. I don't know you any more, profound yellow mother jade. Of course. Sage Martin Immortal was extremely excited after receiving the pill. After replying, it quickly disappeared. Lin Feng couldn't help but mutter to himself. He didn't know why Sage Martin Immortal wanted such a pill. Sage Martin Immortal basically didn't fight with others. Could it be that it wanted to recover its lifespan to its peak? This was also possible. After all, Sage Martin Immortal was a special creature, and its lifespan would eventually reach its end. Moreover, Sage Martin Immortal had lived for an unknown amount of time. Perhaps it really didn't have much lifespan left. Lin Feng kept the 2 Saint Devil reincarnation pills. Since the Demon Lord was still in seclusion, Lin Feng could only wait until the Demon Lord came out before giving the pills to the Demon Lord. The reason why he wanted to give the Demon Lord a Saint Devil reincarnation pill was because Lin Feng had been doing his best to help him all these years. Such a pill might be of great use to the Demon Lord, so Lin Feng left it to the Demon Lord. They searched carefully, wanting to see if there were any other pills that were in good condition. Unfortunately, Lin Feng and the others couldn't find any other pills. As for those destroyed pills, Lin Feng didn't waste them. Others didn't want those pills, but Lin Feng did. Those pills could be used as supplements to feed the insects. Lin Feng kept the pills. Then they walked out of the first stone room. Then they came to the outside of the second stone room. The others waited at the side. Lin Feng began to break the restrictions of the second stone room. Everyone was excited and expectant. They were excited because they had obtained the Saint Devil reincarnation pill before. They were expectant because they felt that the Saint Ancestor reincarnation might have left behind some other good things. If they could find those good things. This was yet another great opportunity. The place where the Saint Ancestor reincarnation fell was really a treasure land. The restrictions of the second stone room were different from those of the first stone room. The only thing that was the same was that these restrictions were very powerful. Moreover, the restrictions of the second stone room seemed to be more powerful than those of the first stone room. Therefore, cracking it was even more difficult. It took Lin Feng 5 days to crack the first stone room. But it took Lin Feng 7 days to crack the second stone room. After the restrictions of the second stone room were cracked, the cursed doll excitedly came to the stone door. Then it reached out and pushed the stone door. Along with a violent sound of friction, there was a loud sound. The stone door of the second stone room was also pushed open by the cursed doll. End of this chapter. You're tuning in to the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.